Well, happy Monday, all of you fine people out there in San Diego. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I shouldn't just say San Diego. We are, a lot of people listen to us in North Carolina and across the country.
The airport in Baltimore?
The airport in Baltimore, just everywhere. So we really appreciate all of you guys listening. Let's get our heads right on a Monday. Very proud of our San Diego Padres. Very, very, very proud. What a week. What a weekend. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fantastic. To my left is Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Benjamin, how are you?
Good morning. You got those Monday morning blues facing the long work week ahead of you, Woods?
No.
Yeah,
No,
I
I do not. I'm going to kiss the Rally Roach, though, right here. The Rally Roach has delivered and hopefully will continue to deliver. I can race it over to you. It's got wheels on it. There he comes. Give it a kiss, Ben.
Skittering around the floor because he fell off the table.
No, this is for me. Listen, I will be hitting the road tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We will be picked up and we will be taken to the airport, heading out to Kauai for a week. So I was lamenting the fact, like, I was going to miss you guys, but after what you did to me on Friday, I won't miss you. And I hope that every bit of content that you think of it goes away. I hope after what you two put me through on Friday after the show. And
Turnabout is sometimes fair play.
I think there's different versions of turnabout, and what you guys did to me, I will never forget. And you're both dead men, and I hate you both. I don't hate you. I love you, but I can't believe
the shoe is on the other foot.
There's got to be a
so to
part of you
speak.
that respects the craft.
100%. Absolutely, I am so. There's a small part of me that's actually very proud of both of you, and that does not meant to be condescending. You're both absolutely brilliant at what you do, and you are so vital to the success of this show. But oh my God, what you guys did to me on Friday was the lowest.
Deviousness really isn't in our nature.
It's not.
but-
Paul is like the least devious. Well, you're the least devious person. Paul is like the second least devious person. I'm pretty devious. And what you did to me is, I'll excuse you. I was going to say inexcusable, but that would mean that I wouldn't be here today. Right. I'll excuse it because it's probably going to be great content. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know that I can hear it. I think that I'm going to have to walk out of the room in shame. These guys got me so good on Friday, and we'll play the audio. Play the audio for you. Let's do it at 8 a.m. But make you guys sit and wait.
Couple of hours just to wait to hear what it was.
What did we do?
You guys are mad scientists, both of you. Geniuses. But it was at my expense.
We really didn't have to do much. We just let you. We let you take your imagination and let it start running away from you.
I hate you guys.
And just go. Like, we wound you up, and you just started going off like an alarm clock.
And what it does is it exposes the worst parts of me.
I was gonna say,
the absolute worst parts of me.
Ben and I had a plan, and we mostly stuck to the plan, but the plan did change just a little bit based on how much of a lunatic you are.
So true. Am I red? Because I feel red. My ears are hot. So, yeah, at 8 o'clock, you'll hear how these two absolute a-holes just got me before I split town tomorrow. Somebody asked me over the weekend, "Yeah, you getting excited for your trip?" And I said, for the first time in my life, really, I purposefully said, I'm so excited about it that I'm not going to let myself get excited yet. Or I'll drop the ball in here. I'll drop the ball at home. I need to stay focused. I need to stay busy. Otherwise, I'll just sit and like rock back and forth waiting to get on the plane to go, because we got a really great trip planned. And I have purposely Ben, I haven't packed a thing. I haven't folded. I haven't organized anything. I'm going to do it all today. That's the minute we sign off here.
You don't need that much in paradise.
That's true.
Couple
That's
of
true.
bathing suits, T-shirts, a golf shirt or two, and you're good to go for a week.
Yeah, it's true. You don't need a ton. And where we're staying has laundry even, which is great. So, I mean, you don't really want to do laundry, but you will if you have to. So, today is really the first day I've let myself get super excited, but it will not distract me from this show. I'm very excited to be here today because, my Lord, our San Diego Padres with an incredible, incredible road trip. We got the trade deadline, and it's been so busy around Major League Baseball. Just a ton to talk about, a ton to break down, discuss. And, we actually had the conversation yesterday. I texted the guys and I said, I don't feel right about coming in on a Monday and being like, lost on Sunday again, right? Like, I was like, man, if anything, this team needs to be celebrated like crazy for the road trip that they just had. And I don't think that's homerism. I don't think that's flagship BS. I think that is the genuine way I feel. When we sat in the roundtable room the other day and we were all, Craig had a paper bag he was breathing into. I'm taking Xanax to calm down. We're on the razor's edge here of the whole season. And for those guys to go out and did what they did, play like they played against the teams they did it against, bro, I can't sit in here and listen to it. It's a shame if they lose. And by all accounts, they should have gotten bodied in that game yesterday, and they didn't. They even made that game a game.
When you look back at the 9 games in 3 cities, they really had 2 bad innings.
In bad
9
innings.
games.
Yes, dude.
That's
yes.
it.
That's
Even
it.
in the 2 games they lost, with the 1 bad inning in each, they outplayed their opponents in the pretty much other 8 or so. I mean, they didn't score in the first game against Cleveland, but after that, they were as good of a baseball team as we've seen in years here on this road trip. Now,
how fantastic is that?
It is fantastic, Mike. Is it sustainable? Will they keep it going? Probably not forever. No baseball team does. But, boy, just to know that they've got that in them kind of changes the equation a little bit, especially here at the trade deadline and how aggressive maybe you want to be and go, okay, this team, if you ask a team to say, hey, trade deadline's coming up, do you want to show us what you're made of or not?
100%.
They just showed us what they're made of and what is capable. So, yeah, I don't mind being a little more aggressive, which they were in the deal that they pulled off. And we'll talk about it, but the deal they pulled off to pick up one of the nicest relief pieces on the market gave up a lot, but I think it was probably a little bit easier to do for A.J. Preller after seeing how his team played on that road trip.
2-name, by the way.
Yeah, notice that.
2-name. Gets me every time.
2 first names.
Yeah, 2-name. We just call it 2-name. Jason Adam. Adam Jason. Jason Adam. I'll probably call him Adam Jason.
How about Alec Jacob?
Alec Jacob? Oh, that's a good one, too.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Excited to be here.
2-name.
I think it's extra sweet because he's coming to the Padres now.
He is an absolute perfect fit for what we're looking for.
I got MLB Network on in the studio right now, and they just did the 5 biggest trades of the weekend, including Jazz, of course, the Padres trade, Zach Eflin going to Baltimore, and I'm going, every single one of these trades that they just broke down involved a Florida team.
Yeah,
Miami or Tampa Bay. I'm like...
2 biggest sellers.
It's open season.
Everything
right
must
now.
go.
That really is
from Florida right now.
Again, I don't know I don't know what Peter Bendix's phone looks like right now, but I would imagine there's about 14 teams blowing that guy up right now, just blowing him up because he still has starters.
Yeah.
He still has relievers he'd like to move. Tampa still has players they'd like to move. Pete Fairbanks, I think, is still on the market. Boy, oh man. Would love to have Pete for multiple reasons. I'd love to have Pete Fairbanks here. He's a good dude, really good stuff. And the post-game interviews would be great. But a lot of movement around baseball. We'll talk about that. I'm just, honestly, man, I'm so proud of these guys. I really am. And they played their asses off, man, since they got on that plane and they headed to Cleveland. They played their asses off, period. And it's very weird to come in. It sucks they didn't win on yesterday's game when they fought back. And there were a couple things, obviously, we can talk about and lament, certainly. But, you couldn't have asked for anything better on that road trip. And I was honestly, dude, was what, 9 games?
Yeah.
I was sitting there going 3-6 is what we're looking at. We were all talking
Certainly
about,
was what I was afraid of, if not worse.
yeah. I mean, we're sitting there talking about stay afloat, and
I mean, we were saying, hey, worst case scenario, could they be sellers possibly if they
Yeah,
don't come
dude.
out of the gate, swinging here in the second half of the season?
yeah, there were those conversations certainly that were had, and again, you hate to keep beating this point home, but this team does feel different. It could be the Rally Roach, it could be something else. It could be Mike Schilt, it could be the embarrassment of last year, it could be Peter Seidler smiling down from above. You just have no idea, but whatever it is, it's certainly the most fun brand of Padres baseball I've seen in quite a while.
How about Xander Bogaerts?
Xander Bogaerts.
Xander Bogaerts.
Playing very, very well.
Makes a real difference when your stars play like stars.
That's right.
Even Manny, after a slow start to the road trip, heated up at the end. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back. Have we ever seen all 3 of them playing well at the same time, ever? I don't know that we really have for more than a day in the last year and a half. So could that happen down the stretch? What would that look like? That's been the dream this whole time, and we've never had a chance to see it. Can we possibly see it in August and September at some point when Tatis comes back? Still,
Yeah, I mean, Soto played pretty consistently all year last year. Bogaerts had he had an okay year.
He had a really good start.
Tatis had an okay year, but we've seen him play so much better, at least offensively. He just never really felt like Tatis all of last year. And Manny had an okay year.
Yeah.
But they never really were. All 4 of those guys were now 3 of them firing on all cylinders.
They certainly never gelled. It never seemed like they gelled, and you never saw comebacks like yesterday. You just never saw it. They were dead in the water. I mean, you could literally turn the TV off when they got down 3-0. Three. You could 3-0, and you're like, they're not. They are.
sometimes it felt like 1-0.
1-0.
last year.
Yeah, they're not coming back. I can continue with my day. I can go hit balls. I can go help my wife do this. I can go run errands. Honestly, 3-0 was my last year. I was like, that's it. I'm
I know
out.
we'll get to all the games. We got the trade to break down, but Friday's game was the game of the weekend for me.
No, it was
That was
spectacular.
the Jurickson
nothing.
Profar
There was
game.
nothing like it.
God.
Nothing like it.
Unbelievable.
Surprise. Padres are good.
Yeah, they're
Is
back
that,
in it.
Is that the takeaway from this road trip? We'll
They
talk
sure
about
played
it.
good, man.
All right, let's take a timeout. We got a lot to get to. We'll set the menu for our Monday program. Tons of Padres talk, trade deadline talk. We are about 32 hours or so away from the trade deadline tomorrow afternoon. Still moves to be made. AJ Preller is still working the phones. We will talk about it coming
Morning,
up
guys.
next with Ben and Woods. Get our first check of traffic with Kelly Danick. And then here we go on a big week for your San Diego Padres and a big week here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Want to jump right into some trade analysis here. A fairly typical Monday in that we've got games to discuss from the weekend. Sammy Levitt will join us at 8:35 with his weekly in-season Sammy appearance. Normal features, take on Woods, don't do this. You know where they show up. If you don't, stick around, you'll find out. Welcome to Ben and Woods. But we talk Padres here, and the Padres made a trade. Went down yesterday morning, correct?
Yeah.
I believe officially went down yesterday morning, acquiring reliever Jason Adam from the Tampa Bay Rays, who have become full-on sellers, even though they're not out of it.
Right.
They're winning record. They're like 4.5 games out in the wild card race, but
the Rays way.
They're saving money.
Doing what the Rays do.
About $30 million in unloading Randy Arozarena and several other players as well. So the Padres trying to take advantage, but the Rays, of course, they're going to want maximum value in return for everything. And most people pretty much agree they got maximum value here for Jason Adam in Dylan Lesko, the Padres' #1 pitching prospect and first-round draft pick from 2022, but a guy who has struggled to find his command coming off of the Tommy John surgery. Remember, he was recovering from the Tommy John when they drafted him.
Yeah.
And all the potential in the world, maybe the best high school arm in that draft, but has yet to kind of figure it out completely on the pro level. Still has some electric stuff, but has not done it. The Rays, I'm sure, feel like, oh, yeah, we'll figure this guy out, and he'll be a number 2, number 3 starter for us in 2 or 3 years. But Padres don't want to wait that long. They need help now. They also traded Homer Bush Jr., another high draft pick from a couple of years ago, and catcher J.D. Gonzalez, good defensive guy who's trying to figure it out with the bat, but 3 of their top 20 prospects for a reliever, not even a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher in Jason Adam, but one, even if you haven't heard the name, which is fine because, playing in Tampa Bay, maybe you haven't heard of Jason Adam, but one of the top right-handed relievers in the game right now, certainly maybe the best one that was available at the trade deadline, really going to upgrade the Padres bullpen down the stretch, and then has 2 more years of arbitration control left, so the Padres can pencil him into the bullpen in 2025 and 2026 as well.
There was the old adage, and I think we here in San Diego, or AJ Preller, they've done a good job to dispel the old "don't trade with the Rays" scene. And listen, we've made some deals with them over the past 5-6 years, certainly. And Ken Rosenthal even marveled. He said, one rival executive marveled at the ability of Padres general manager A.J. Preller to move Dylan Lesko for significant value, right? Like, coming off TJ, really, again, the command has been all over the place. 74 walks in 102 and 2/3 professional innings. But the Rays look at him and they go, okay, we'll take a crack at him. It's worth an 8th inning guy, a high leverage arm at the back end of our bullpen when we're probably not going anywhere on a project like Dylan Lesko. And they're going to throw in Homer Bush, who maybe we think we can help swing the bat a little bit better. And then they throw in J.D. Gonzalez. The more I look at it, I go, this is just straight up what we needed. We needed him.
There's a chance that Dylan Lesko ends up being a big first-round bust. There's still a chance he ends up being a productive, number 2, number 3 starter. If he does, well, then the Tampa Bay Rays probably win this trade. If he's a bust, then the Padres got something pretty valuable for a guy that was never going to pan out. Call it the ultimate bird in the hand, Jason Adam, you know what you're getting, versus 2 plus Homer Bush kind of trade.
I'd say, something like that. Oh, 2 plus Homer Bush. I got 2 in the hand, 1 in the bush.
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bush. But
Very clever.
You pretty much know what you're getting with Jason Adams.
You absolutely
Consistency,
do.
sub-3 ERA, 8th inning guy. I mean, not as valuable as a starting pitcher with 6 years of control.
No,
but
of course.
You don't know that you'll ever get that with Dylan Lesko, so they're just taking a sure thing, or as close to a sure thing as you're going to get, a productive reliever. It's going to be around for 2+ seasons. You've got some control, and he can help you right now, which Dylan Lesko, Homer Bush, and J.D. Gonzalez, they weren't helping you this season. Probably next season.
Anytime you see a 3-for-1, it immediately you go into retreat mode. Every time. It doesn't matter who it is or who it's for, you go, right? And once you really kind of break it down, listen, I remember everyone losing our minds because they traded Luis Patino, right? Like, losing our minds. Patino is back with the Padres now. The interesting part about this one, though, the very funny and interesting, strange part about the Jason Adam coming back to San Diego is that, well, we had him.
Yeah, of course.
We had him here, and we DFA'd him here.
At some point, everyone's passed through the
That's
Padres,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Air Tatis tweeted, Preller traded a 2022 first, Lesko, a 2023 third, Gonzalez, and a 2023 fourth, Bush, for a guy he waived in Jason Adam in 2017. Which is absolutely accurate. And but again, something has clicked in his career. Thank you to the Rays for figuring that out. Now they think they can do the same with Dylan Lesko. More power to him. We needed this guy. We needed this guy at the back end of our bullpen, and it hopefully should really, really help.
JWW in the chat says, I thought Homer Bush was going to be our future outfield star. That wasn't the reports that I was hearing on Homer Bush. Not that he's bad.
No,
they certainly think he's going to make it to the big leagues at some point, but the descriptions I were hearing was more of a Jose Azocar plus, like a really strong fourth outfielder type is what he was projecting as. Now, maybe he exceeds those projections and becomes
you never know.
A valuable everyday player at some point. I'm sure the Rays are, dreaming on that and hoping that he's more than just that. But the scouts were kind of saying, there's a ceiling there. They didn't see superstar. They saw a really athletic, great defender, maybe some bat, but not someone that they expect to be a perennial all-star. So I'm not sure that the Padres were it was that tough to give up on Homer Bush Jr. there. No offense, but that was the scouting report on Homer Bush right now.
Yeah, it's never personal. I mean, and it can't be here in San Diego. It's hard to get attached to prospects and stuff because there's a good chance they'll be shipped out. Our buddies at Friars on the Farm put in the chat, I've watched Lesko starts. Flashes of absolute dominance, but that's just it, flashes. And, they looked at that in Tampa and said, we can take those flashes, make him more consistent. We're willing to take a chance on this. And again, it's not like A.J. Preller set the market with this thing. This is what it's costing right now. He for once, was a little bit, I don't want to say late to the party, but usually he's like the first guy. And he was like the fifth guy in at the table this year.
Picture it this way. You go into the store. You need a gallon of milk. It's just something you need. Padres need a relief pitcher. Unfortunately, the only store that is open is Whole Foods. And you go and they look at the milk, and it's like, this is $7 a gallon. But there's nowhere else open, and you need milk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Christmas morning tomorrow, and you need milk for whatever you're making, your pancakes and everything, and you need it. So what do? You
got to buy it.
You pay the $7 for the milk because that's the price that's going for, and it's the only place that you can buy milk right now.
So you can't just come back empty-handed.
Yeah,
$7.
No, I mean, it was too much. It was $7. You want me to pay $7 for milk, and you get home, and your wife goes, yes, it's Christmas morning. We need the milk. What, you just left because it was too expensive? This is what A.J. Preller, he is shopping at Whole Foods. The prices are outrageous, but he needs a relief pitcher, and he goes, all right, I guess I have to pay it because there's no other stores that are open that are selling relief pitchers, and this is the price they're asking for this one.
Why do I feel like Ben has actually gone to the store to buy milk and said, I'm not paying $7 for milk, and then came home and got his ass chewed out?
He knows from experience.
But I know on Christmas Eve when they need milk, then I've got to pay it because there's no other choice. You got to do it. It's organic, absolutely.
Junior says milk spoils. Yeah, but the expiration date on Jason Adam is 2 years, so that's what
this
we
is the
got
kind
him
that
for.
comes in the big glass jug of milk that's like, are you kidding me?
I bought that. Speaking of, not to get too off topic, but I bought some of that glass jug chocolate milk at it was either Whole Foods or Lazy Acres once.
See how the other half lives?
And I did. I go, it looked so appetizing. And I was like, well, I'll just have a sip of this. And I had a sip. I was like, oh my God. It was erotic. And by the time I got home, it was gone. I mean, so you get what you pay for. And hopefully he comes in, slots in perfectly at the back end of the bullpen, and we should see him tomorrow, I would imagine, against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
That he'll be available and ready. Padres bullpen, pretty good shape. But we'll talk about the Dodgers series. We got a couple of days to do that. I want to get into the road trip and the weekend that was against the Baltimore Orioles. Yes, it's another Sunday loss for your San Diego Padres. Last week's respite was unfortunately brief, and they're right back to their losing ways on Sunday.
But
But
doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to be upset about a Sunday loss.
We do have rules, though.
We do have rules.
The Padres wrap-up goes on.
It goes on.
We can't play the winning wrap-up. They lost the game.
They lost the game, but we can do it
We
differently
can have some fun with it.
because that's what we do.
Maybe a new theme song.
We're going to make it work for us now.
That's right.
Sunday loss is going to work
It's
for
gonna work
us
for us.
when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com. All year long, we have, let's be honest, rolled our eyes at Mike Shiltz looking on the bright side.
Yes.
Glasses half full.
Yes.
Rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
Analysis of the Padres, 51 losses now? 57 wins, 51 losses? Every single one of those, 51 losses. Greatest loss we've ever seen. I kind of agree with him yesterday. He's kind of right. Yesterday's loss was a good Mike Schilt loss.
I said to you before the show started, I looked at you and I said, yesterday was the definition of a moral victory, wasn't it? And you go, yeah, it was. Hey, I hate moral victories too, until I don't. How about that? I hate them until I don't. And I did not hate that loss yesterday. In fact, I was rather impressed. So many things went the Orioles' way yesterday. So many things bounced their way, and they still almost lost that game. Right?
Yeah, great plays in the field by
Cedric
the Orioles.
Mullins robbing Manny Machado. Manny Machado wearing a ball in the dome yesterday. So many things broke their way, and we still had them, holding their stomachs, man, like thinking they were going to lose that game. So I get it, but to cap off that road trip with that much fight, when on a Sunday after a really successful road trip, you could have been like, what are we down? 4-0. We're into the bullpen right now. Eniel De Los Santos is in. Bro, let's fold them up, man. Let's get back to San Diego. We got the Dodgers.
Pull the starters, get them extra rest.
Let's go. Bro,
Vasquez been pitching pretty well, but you just like, doesn't have it today.
Doesn't have it today. Those are going to happen.
Hey, hell of a road trip.
Those
boys.
games are going to happen, and they next thing I know, we have a baseball game yesterday, and we have it on in the dugout. Next thing I know, it's Bogaers hit a bomb at 6-5, and I'm like, what? And they're right back in this thing, man. So again, I understand. I just, it would feel very icky to me to come in here this morning to can't close the deal again. Like it's not who I am.
With that in mind, we're going to have a little fun, and we're going to kind of modify our Padres wrap-up. But we will get to the highlights right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Good morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend, great Comic-Con weekend for a lot of folks. Yeah, another one wrapped up there. Things should be back to normal in the gas lamp area. We've got a couple of problems on our freeways, guys. Tow truck is on scene of a solo vehicle accident southbound 5 at the East 54 connector ramp. And Quidel traffic cam shows a motorcycle accident on northbound 125 right before Grossmont. So please take it extra carefully there. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, a shame indeed. It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Give it 16 minutes of salt and then get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Runners lead at all three bases. Vasquez is set and ready to pitch. Henderson takes outside ball fourth. Curveball backed up, just missed. Third walk of the inning, and this one will give the Orioles a 1-0 lead as James McCann walks home to score. First pitch to him, swung on, hit in the air left field. Profar in and towards the line, long run, can't get there, drops down a fair ball. Cowser has scored. Santander will stop at third base as the throw comes in. Everybody had to kind of wait and see if it was going to be caught. But O'Hearn goes the other way, dumps it in, and a 2-0 Oriole lead here in the third. Here's the pitch. Mountcastle swings, lines it over Cronenworth into right field, base hit. Santander has scored. They're going to wave Henderson. Throw from Peralta's up the first base line. A 2-run single for Mountcastle. 4-0 Orioles in the third, and still nobody out. First pitch, lined into right center field, and that's going to get down. That's going to bounce. That's going to roll all the way to the base of the wall. O'Hearn has scored. Mountcastle's right behind him. No chance. A 2-run double for Cedric Mullins, who's now driven in 6 in the last 2 days. And the Oriole lead is 6-0. As Kim hits this one in the air down the left field line. Cows are not going to get there. That's a fair ball, and it drops down. Merrill scores. Peralta's on his way to third. Safe as the throw comes in. Second double of the inning for the Padres, and a 6-1 game here in the 5th. Higashioka swings, lines it towards Henderson. He can't make the catch, and it's into left field. Peralta comes in to score. Kim goes to third, and it's a 6-2 game. 1-1 pitch hit in the air to deep left field. Cows are going back, still going back by the big wall. Looking up, gonna go! Home run, Xander Bogaerts! Over the big fence in left, a 2-run shot, and now a 1-run game.
This team does not go away.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit hard on the ground, through the left side, and a base hit. Santander has scored. Rutschman's on his way. A 2-run single for Mountcastle, and now an 8-5 lead. 2-2 to Profar. Pitch on the way. Jurickson swings, bounces it over the mound. Charged by Henderson near the bag. Steps on second, and a hard slide by Wade. What are they going to call? Wade, I think, is going to be called for interfering on the defensive play, and that's going to be a double play to end the game, which the Padres will obviously challenge.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. There is no violation of the slide rule at second base. The runner will be placed at first, third, and score.
And a 2-2 hit hard, but right to the second baseman, Westberg. His throw to first is in time, and the ball game is over. Padres made it interesting all day long, but they could not quite come all the way back. And the 7-game winning streak comes to a close, but still a phenomenal road trip by the Padres, who take 2 out of 3 in Cleveland, sweep a 3-game series in Washington, and take 2 out of 3 here in Baltimore.
Could easily, the last day of a 10-day trip with, this very fruitful, said, we've got ours, we're good, down 6-0. Let's just kind of go through the motions. This group has none of that. Has 0 in them. And I love the fact, if you're up and you're playing well, you want more. And the hunger from this group and the competitive spirit, the admiration for what took place today. And there was not a person in that dugout that didn't think we were going to come back and win that game.
Love it, man. I do. I'm sorry. I'm the Kool-Aid. You poured it, and I'm drinking it right now. I really am. And I don't know what's going to happen when I leave tomorrow. Hopefully the Rally Roach continues his magic ways. And we keep rolling because that's a you have a couple of good pitchers coming in, but we've got a couple of good pitchers going up against them as well, and we got a lineup that's clicking right now. So was very, very pleased by that road trip. I don't know how you could be anything but. I really thought this is such a make or break week for the San Diego Padres, and they made it, man. 7-2 is just, again, against the Guardians, who don't really lose much, at all. They really don't lose at home very much. And against the Baltimore Orioles. It's incredible.
When the Padres got to Baltimore, and I was listening to Friday night's game, and they keep saying, "Oh, this guy's coming up. He's got 29 homers, and then 28 homers, and 17 homers." And look at their pitching staff is really good. And I'm going, this is a phenomenal team. What?
Yes.
Where's the weakness on this team?
Correct.
They do have some inconsistency to them. Like Gunnar Henderson is a fantastic player, but there were a lot of mistakes made.
Tons.
I mean, the drop pop-up on Saturday, a number of throwing, are just wild throws. They lack a little bit of discipline that may keep them from going all the way. There's still some improvement to be made there. This is a very talented team. I know that, Henderson at that last play, that we just heard it in the 9th inning, the call that was overturned. There was a bit of a flop there by Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
It's a smart
play.
He knows he's not getting Profar likely at first base, so there's only one way to get that out. It's to get an interference call. So he kind of sticks his foot into the path where Tyler Wade is sliding, takes a big tumble, And then that requires what? It requires first the umpire to be fooled and make the call of interference. And then it requires the replay guys to probably make a bad call in New York and uphold it. They got the first, they didn't get the second. It was smart for him to try that because likely Jurickson Profar was going to be safe at first. So I thought he totally took a soccer-style dive on that one.
Smart move.
Kind of overacted a little bit.
Yeah.
They should have caught that on the field right away going, come on, dude. You're totally trying to draw a call here instead of make a play at first base. The fact that he didn't even throw it, like he knew he was never throwing it. He knew he was simply trying to draw an interference call because it was a very slowly hit ball.
Yeah,
and it would have been hard to turn the double play, but smart. Why not take a try and see if you can fool somebody?
Good, smart baseball play on his end, and a good, smart, hard slide by Tyler Wade directly into the bag. Wasn't, we are at that point where they're going to look at all of those things. I mean, they are going to look, especially if they feel that there was, illegal contact and all that. But, man, again, I can't belabor the point enough. A 7-2 road trip against the teams that they played was really, really spectacular. And now you look at it, and it puts the pressure squarely on the back of A.J. Preller over these next couple of days to continue to fortify this team. And I know we talked about the nugget that Kevin Acee had in his newsletter today about Joe Musgrove. There's a nugget in there talking about him potentially being able to come back a little bit sooner than we thought. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, look, yes, if he comes back and he's vintage Joe Musgrove, brilliant. If he comes back and it's a little bit more, I got 45 pitches or 50 pitches I can throw, and now I'm hurt again. I'd rather, like with the off days that we have this week alone, I mean, you can be creative, but when you can get a guy like Joe Musgrove back, if he is in fact feeling healthy and he's spinning it well and the velo's up, yeah, man, that's a huge lift for this team.
Well, I just read it. So Joe is going to throw tomorrow, I believe, in Arizona against live hitters and try to get, 30 pitches, 35 pitches. Then he said, okay, now there's two options after that. I feel pretty good right now, though. If that goes well, I could just come back and make my next start on the big league level. Now, it'll be kind of a rehab start in that he'll only be able to throw 3 innings or so if he does that. But if they need me to do that, he feels like I could be ready to do that by, Saturday or Sunday against the Colorado Rockies over the weekend. What's more likely to happen is that he'll go and stretch out at least one rehab start in the minor leagues, and then maybe the following week when the Padres go back out on the road, Joe could come back there, or 2 rehab starts, and then he's ready to go 5 innings or so. Obviously, he knows if he comes back with 3 innings, he's putting the bullpen in a potentially bad situation. Yeah. So, but if someone
goes 8 or something, the day before,
or someone else goes down and they're kind of in a jam and they need 3 innings from someone, he might be able to do it by next weekend, which is when he is eligible to come off the 60-day injured list.
Ivan makes the point in our chat that was probably the talk of the Tier 1 dugout yesterday at Vista Sports Complex, and that was the decision by Ha-Seong Kim to try to steal third base there. And Yikes.
Can't have that.
With Luis Ariz at the dish, you can't defend that. You're in scoring position. You score on anything he hits.
If it's someone other than Ariz, I mean, there's 1 out, you get to third, you score on a fly ball, you score on a ground ball potentially. There is value in getting to third base with 1 out. So in baseball terms, it's not the worst risk to take if you think you've got a good jump. The rise up, obviously, he's going to get a lot of hits. Now, I don't necessarily agree that he would have scored on that single. It would have been right in front of Kim at second base, so he would have had to hell for a second for it to get through. And the left fielder was playing shallow, and it wasn't hit very far. I think it would have been first and third 1 out is a better situation than runner at first and 2 outs because you got thrown out at third. It's never a good idea to get thrown out on any base paths, but when you do steal bases, you're going to get thrown out occasionally.
I didn't, and again, Ben, it's situational. Beginning of the year, offense is slumping a little bit. You're trying to make something happen. You can, all right, well, guys are pressing a little bit. They're trying to make something happen. The offense has been fine, more than fine. Like the front door's open for the catcher. So you lefty batter up. I'm staring down. Every catcher makes that throw. I mean, unless it is unless the dude's in the windup, there's just no real reason for that. And now if he makes it, hey, and that's the nature of the game. If you make it, well, what a heads-up, gutsy play by Hassan Kim. He didn't make it.
Love the aggression.
Love the aggression there. No, he didn't make it. Then it turns into a bonehead play.
If I have a concern from yesterday's game, it's possibly Adrian Morejon giving a little bit of ground lately. And
Yes.
while they just fortified the bullpen with Jason Adam,
maybe that helps.
he's really the only – I mean, he's the best left-handed option they've
yeah.
had. Yuki Matsui's pitched a little bit better lately, but he's your highest leverage lefty now, and the last 2 times out, he gave up the lead on Friday with the home run to Santander and then left the runner at third that scored on the sac fly allowed by Robert Suarez, and then gives up 2 critical runs, what turned out to be important insurance runs in a rally. Now, maybe that's just a one-off, and Adrian's still fine, but he hasn't really been around for a whole season ever, in his big league career, and I'm sure there's some concern about how strong Adrian Morejon's going to finish this year, which is why so important to fortify the bullpen, because you can't be totally sure as what you're going to get in August and September from Adrian Morejon. That, to me, my biggest just kind of nagging worry from the weekend, just seeing him not be quite as sharp as he's really been great the last couple of months.
He has been.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime somebody's on a good roll and they blink, and they blink a couple of times, you're like, ooh, I hope this isn't a harbinger of things to come. But with Jason Adam coming in, that should absolutely help. So yeah, man, there's a lot to be positive about, certainly, and yeah, we can pick at the negative scab as well, certainly.
We'll get to some of the other games from the weekend coming up. I also want to talk about all the other trades that went down as well. We can mention some of the biggies, some of the head scratchers as well from the weekend, and take on Woods. Our first game of the week is coming up at 7:10. All ahead, don't go away. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Have some Padres Dodgers to give away today. Tickets, that is, to the games.
Not actual players.
Tomorrow. No.
All right, who wants Gavin Lux? Call now, 833-288-09. I don't even think Dodger fans would call for that one.
He's
playing
home run
better.
yesterday.
Yeah, he's playing better.
He's been playing a little bit
Kevin
better.
Biggio coming up in the 8 o'clock hour.
We give away tickets to see the Padres and the Dodgers tomorrow. And then Paulie says tomorrow we'll have tickets for Wednesday's game. So stay tuned between now and 10 o'clock for your chance to get to what is going to be a pretty big series. Just a 2-gamer, which is because one of those games was actually played in Korea. This is where you only get a 2-game series because one of those was a Padres home game. So just a short 2-gamer, a couple off days this week. But we talked about yesterday's game, and we got so into it, we forgot the Sunday thing. The Padres not winning on Sundays, which, of course, has been a problem. They have last week's win as their only Sunday win since May, right? Yeah. I believe, we went back to like late May, and they lost every Sunday game. They won last week, but right back to the losing ways on Sundays. And I don't know what the issue is, whether they're just, too much brunch or whatever goes on Sundays.
Maybe Saturday night gets too big. I don't know. It's I know I've had some pretty lazy Sundays myself. So
Paul, this was amazing. I'm a little concerned of how good it turned out.
Yeah.
Because I've always kind of rolled my eyes a little bit at the whole AI. Oh, yeah, AI's coming and going to change your lives. But there's no way AI can replace human creativity.
Right. Like the actual crafting of a song.
Except it kind of has.
And
because
the chord structures.
There's a lot about AI that I don't like. And I am freaked out about and concerned about for the future. But if it's around and it can enhance our show,
let's use it.
I'm going to use it.
So, Woods, when you and I were growing up, novelty songs on like morning radio shows were a big thing.
Massive.
Like,
Paul, you can't even wrap your head around how big. They did a song in Dallas to the tune of Eric Clapton's Cocaine, and it was Coffee. And this was 40 years ago, and I can still hear it in my head.
When the Padres went to the '84 World Series, they had Cub Busters to the tune of Ghostbusters, which was the big. I mean, and it took so much to put together one of those songs. You need musicians, you need songwriters, you needed a recording studio. It was like weeks of work that went into this content. Paulie, tell everybody what you did and how long it took.
I created. Well, I didn't create. I used AI to create a humorous song about the Padres' inability to win on Sundays in the style of bro country.
And how long did that take?
About 10 seconds.
10 seconds. And here is the result, which absolutely blew my mind.
It's called Sunday Slump.
There's a team down in Cali by the Sun-Kissed Bay with a nickname from the Padres, but they can't seem to play. Come Sunday afternoons, they just fold and fade away. While the fans all sigh, why can't we win today? We've got the sunshine, we got the beach, but when it comes to Sundays, the wind's out of reach. Beer in our hand.
Beer in our hand.
Hope in our hearts, but by the 7th inning, it's falling apart. Oh, Sunday's just no fun day when we're losing every game.
Oh my God.
Our Sundays turn to blunder days. It's always just the same. From Petco Park to the parking lot, we'll wonder what went wrong. Oh, Padres, can't you break the curse and give us one sweet song?
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's not. Eric Grupner gives that guy a surfboard, and he sells out Petco Park. And people pay $700 a ticket to go see a guy that sounds like that, my friend. Hunter said, way to jinx us. He said, that's worse than that's what's in. That's not a jinx. It's not talking about how great we are. It's talking about how we can't win on Sunday.
We're hoping to jinx the Sunday.
We're hoping to jinx Sundays, buddy.
It's just no fun day when we're losing every game.
That's 10 seconds that thing took. Our Sundays turn to what? Butter days?
Blunder days.
Oh, blunder days. Butter days is better.
I mean,
my Sundays are butter days.
What happened to the craft? creativity, the work that is required to put together a really horrible song.
Right. Like, Corn Star and things like that we've played before. Like, man, at least they, like, got in the studio and did that song, and some of the worst, Florida Georgia Line songs you've ever heard. Those guys actually went in and actually had to sing it and play it and write it down and, build a song around it. That is just incredible, though.
Send that over to our friends at KSON.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play it all day.
Play this this a new hit tune.
Want to throw out the phone numbers for Take on Woods, about 5 minutes if you want to get in line to play and try to qualify for our trip to Las Vegas. 833-288-0973 last week to qualify for our July prize. 833-288-0973. Before that, though, a bunch of other moves. The trade deadline is not until tomorrow, but this weekend saw a ton of activity, Woods. Biggest move in your mind from over the weekend? Was it?
I was floored by the Christopher Morel and Isaac Paredes trade. I was floored by it because I think, like everybody, I considered the Cubs to be out of it.
Well, they said they're out of it. They said They said we're not playing for this year, and this idea of acquiring Isaac Paredes is not really for this season. He's under control a couple of more years, and they're looking to win next year and the year after. But that one was kind of a shocker, but probably won't have a big impact on the rest of this season.
I thought the Phillies getting Carlos Estevez was pretty big as well.
Right after trading Sir Anthony Dominguez. They're playing some chess here.
They really are.
They trade with the Orioles to, kind of fill each other's needs, but then come right in and grab another reliever to replace Sir Anthony Dominguez. That's some next-level GMing by David Dombrowski.
Yeah, he's good.
There with the Phillies. Jazz Chisholm going to the Yankees is the one that I think got the most headlines because it was the Yankees. I don't know. What are they going to do with him? Where are they going to play him?
Well, he was playing center field last night.
Yeah, but they have a center
Sox.
fielder who's pretty good.
Well, with
for the most part. And they have Trent Grisham, who's now, never going to play.
Right.
You could play him instead of Verdugo a little bit.
I mean,
you could try him in the infield, but then you have to move Gleyber Torres, they don't want to move him.
They actually talked to him after the game, asking Jazz if he would take ground balls at third base, and he said, sure, whatever they need. Gleyber said, no, I'm a second baseman, which is exactly what you want to hear.
It's just a weird fit. They need some more athleticism. They don't steal many bases. He kind of fills that need.
Sure.
But let's be honest, Jazz Chisholm's a little more hype than actually good. I don't know if that was a great deal. They would have been better off with Paredes if they could have gotten him. He would have filled instantly one of their needs, but they couldn't land him. The Cubs got him. When the Dodgers and Yankees both wanted him, that's why that was such a shocker for me over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the A.J. Preller deal was shocking when it came down yesterday as well. So there's been some pretty decent moves that I've liked. I think a lot of teams have gotten better, man.
The Mets, who are right there with the Padres, half game behind in the wild card race, picked up a couple of players. They got Ryan Stanek from the Mariners to fortify their bullpen, although he got lit up by the Braves in his first appearance.
They got Jesse Stinker.
Get our friend Jesse Winker from the Washington Nationals to be a fourth kind of outfielder or kind of part-time starter for them as well.
Jesse Wanker, some people have called him. I don't.
Got to watch the Mets, though. I mean, it's now a 6-team race for 3 spots right now, with maybe the Giants being the 7th team, possibly in a wild card race. But, you got to play better than at least 3 of those teams to make sure you get into the wild card at the end of the year. And the Mets are clearly going for it. The Braves kind of stopped the bleeding, though, with a couple of wins over the Mets this weekend. But the Diamondbacks are hot. They lost yesterday in extra innings, but they've been winning a lot. They're right on the Padres' tail. The Pirates are still in it. Padres have 6 huge games against the Pirates coming up. Those are going to be absolutely critical. So you look at those standings, and you got to keep an eye out on a bunch of teams right now in the National League and what they're doing and may still do before tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some huge names that could potentially be moved over the next couple of days. Blake Snell probably being the top of the heap there after striking out 15 hitters in 6 innings the other day for the Giants, and they're in that weird precipice of like, oh God, what do we do?
Well, and John Heyman just 10 minutes ago posted that the Orioles, with new, wealthier, win-oriented owner and great prospect stash, are aiming high, and among teams to check in on Blake Snell, Crochet and Skubal are also potential fits.
Yeah, so, the Dodgers have been pretty quiet, but pretty quiet. I mean, very quiet. Now, they're under. I mean, listen, Twitter is Twitter. It's a small percentage of your fan base, but they're pretty vocal. And to look at Dodgers Twitter right now, the panic is real. So, if you're Andrew Friedman, you look at your lineup that you ran out this weekend against the Astros, and you go, yeah, man, we need some help. Paredes would have been a phenomenal fit for them as well. I really thought he was going to go there. They were not willing to meet the price on him, I guess. So I don't know who they go get.
And we can talk about what the Padres still trying to do with starting pitching a little bit later, but in terms of what's available, the shine's a little bit off of Crochet with his big poison pill of needing a contract extension. Yusei Kikuchi's been pitching terribly lately. Blake Snell obviously is drawing tons of interest, so there's tons of competition. Tyler Anderson is still out there. Maybe someone like Cal Quantrill. If the Rockies are willing to deal him, just go for a fifth starter type.
There was a report that came out this morning about the Rockies that said they're not going to extend Cal Quantrill. So he, I would imagine, is available. So it would be interesting to pick up Cal again.
We'll talk about that, obviously, over the next 24 hours plus. Right now, though, let's get to our first game of the week. It is time to take on Woods. All right, let's see. Let's go to, is this Aiden? Did I get that right? Hello? Who's this?
Yeah, it's Aiden.
Aiden, you calling for Take on Woods?
I was calling for Take, but I'll do that too.
All right, well, hold on. Now, if you're not calling for Take on Woods, I put you on hold. We can hold you on. Let's try Robert. Robert, you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Robert.
Good morning, guys.
All right, you ready to play Take on Woods?
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Let's get right to it. If you can beat or tie Woods, you'll qualify for our grand prize drawing trip to the Rio Las Vegas. 2 nights, dinner for 2, a daybed at the Rio Pool, one of their 4 sparkling new pools, part of their renovations with new rooms, brand new food hall, and more. Get your rooms now at RioLasVegas.com. All right, here are your categories. Robert, we've got X marks the spot. Those are 5 songs or artists ending in the letter X. Got the Afterlife. Those are song titles and artists, including the word after. And we've got Oceans 5. Those are song titles and artists, including the word ocean. So X marks the spot, the Afterlife, or Oceans 5. Robert, what would you like to play?
X marks the spot.
X marks the spot. All right. Today, we are looking for 5 songs or artists that end in the letter X. Have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. Pass if you don't know one. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. If you beat or tie Woods, will get you into the drawing. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie's going to play you some music. He's queuing it up now. If you can give me the title and the artist, one of which has the X at the end, you'll score that point. 2-parter there. Robert, you ready to play?
Yeah.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock. In the category X marks the spot. Robert, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Pass.
English new wave band Frankie Goes to Hollywood topped the charts with which debut single released in 1983?
Pass.
Which thrash metal band, considered one of the big 4, is named after a bacterial infection that sounded sufficiently evil to guitarist Scott Ian?
Pass.
2 years after Hungry Like the Wolf in Rio, which 1984 song finally became the first #1 hit in the United States for Duran Duran?
He just hung up.
Wow. All right.
We've never had that.
That was an unfortunate game of Take on Woods.
He literally hung up.
I don't even know where to go from there.
He dropped a bad word.
You dumped him.
I dumped him, and then I dumped the word. He hung up.
Yeah, and then he hung up. Well, at least he knew when you do that on the radio, you're done. So
he also probably read the writing on the wall.
That's
there.
not going to happen.
Saw that.
Let's see how Woods
Let's
does.
make Woods think he really needs to
all
step
right.
up.
Come on, Woods. I won't give all the answers. In fact, I didn't even got to the last question. Chat knows some of these. All right. Bring your A game here, Woods. Tricky category.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Robert.
That is Nirvana, and it's I'll come back to it.
English new wave band Frankie Goes to Hollywood topped the charts with which debut single released in 1983.
Relax?
Correct. Which thrash metal band considered one of the big four is named after a bacterial infection?
Anthrax.
Correct. 2 years after Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio, which 1984 song became the first hit to #1 in the United States for Duran Duran?
Say it again.
2 years after Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio, which 1984 song finally became
The
the
Reflex.
First. Correct. Salt and Pepper were willing to have a frank discussion about the birds and the
Let's
bees.
talk about sex.
Correct. Back to our 2-second song.
This is something with an X.
You need it.
Very
something
good.
with an X. Something with an X.
Yeah.
Need it.
It's
How can you? You need it.
Shut up.
10
Come on.
seconds.
Come on.
Shut
It's
up,
Nirvana.
Shut up. I know. Hey, what are you gonna do, man?
Oh my God.
I can't believe you're going to lose.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Congratulations, Robert.
Hold on. I still can't. It's
Actually, Robert didn't get any right. You win.
Oh,
In fact,
He hung.
not only did he,
He
not get
cursed
any
and
right,
hung up
he
after
cursed
4
and hung up.
questions.
no, he didn't.
You're going to kill yourself on this one.
What is it?
Heart-shaped box.
Heart-shaped box.
Yeah, they all
I thought was all apologies. That's the first thing that went in my head, and I couldn't get it out.
they all ended in X.
He went pass, pass.
Heart-shaped
and
box.
then Ben read a question. He goes, S, and then just hung
It's
up.
the
Should have
greatest.
stuck with 8, and he was calling in for some Padres talk, and we said, well, we'll switch to Robert, but
That
guess that was my mistake.
is fantastic.
Heart-shaped box, relax, anthrax, the reflex, and let's talk about sex.
Save
X
that.
marks the
Save
spot.
that. Did you already get it? All right.
All right. Well, I was Don't Do This. Robert, you just made Don't Do This as well. First ever time that you're both a contestant and a Don't Do This.
Adam Klug just sent a banger to the group thread and said that caller laid his golden fiddle down because he knew that he'd been beat.
That was amazing.
Oh, my Lord. Whew. You guys probably scared me to death. You need it. You
I
need it.
know.
I'm like, shut up, shut up.
Everyone says I was smiling too much.
Oh, Lord. That was tough. Not really.
All right. Don't Do This is coming up next. Did you want to talk about the opening ceremonies of the Olympics a little bit? I will if you don't. Because I got to do this from the opening ceremonies. Let's come back with that and more after traffic here on 97 through the fan.
Just the tease here. I have never seen Woodsy so passionate about maybe anything.
He's mad. He is hopping mad.
I watched. I enjoyed the opening ceremonies. This man was fuming for about 10 minutes this morning.
Pacing. Just pacing this room.
You may be
I
on
don't even wanna know
suspension
what
for
you
a
were
week
like
while
on
you're on
Friday.
vacation.
Yeah,
if
if
you don't
suspend me for a week,
if you
I'm
don't
going
hold
on
on this
vacation
next
anyway.
segment. Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This, brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. Craft Taco is some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today at thecrafttaco.com. And Woods was very worked up. Not about the opening ceremonies, but the reaction.
Oh, man, it bummed me out.
To the opening ceremonies on Friday from Paris.
It really brought me back to the 80s and the Satanic Panic. You got to remember where I lived. I lived in Texas and come from a really religious family. My grandfather was a primitive Baptist preacher. My grandfather was primitive Baptist, which is about as hardcore as you can get. My dad is a very devout Catholic. I was exposed to a lot of religion, grew up in the church, etc. And I remember the Satanic Panic of the 80s. My favorite bands being called to trial, and I remember getting into dozens and dozens of arguments with my parents and family members about this satanic music I was listening to, and it really just kind of spun me out again to see it kind of come back full circle. When in reality, that's not what it was at all. It wasn't that then, and it's not that now. And it really, I was like, I was just completely lost it talking about it again. I remember, think about like when I was a kid, when we were kids, Ben, AC/DC, AC/DC, fun-loving band from Australia. No. It's actually stands for After Christ, Devil Comes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It never did. Kiss. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. I was made for loving you. That actually stands for Knights in Satan's Service. No, it doesn't. They were sitting around a room. They looked at each other and goes, what about Kiss? It's a good band name. That's it.
AC/DC. So Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells.
Hell's right there in the name.
Right there in the name.
Trevor Hoffman came out to hundreds of save opportunities.
Yeah.
Secretly turning all of San Diego into devil worshippers.
Demonic.
Didn't know that.
I heard when I was a kid. I grew up in a family where I had family members that wouldn't let their kids trick or treat because it was demonic, and I'm like, she's dressed as Raggedy Ann, just getting some candy on a Wednesday night. Listen, you can be offended about anything you want to be offended about, but I think when you understand the context and the history behind the opening ceremonies, it gives it a little more clarity. And the Satanic Panic was such a part of my youth, and I hated it, and I defended it vehemently, and I will do the same now.
So it was pretty avant-garde.
Some awesome. Of the Gojira came out and just shredded, and to have by the way, we all need to remember that wasn't in America. That was in France. It's a different country. They have a different history. That was a history lesson, and in the Greek, the Olympics come from Greek culture. They talked about that in there. They did that. It was their interpretation. So, I
really thought the opening ceremonies were incredible.
I did too. And I just think that, if you want to get offended about something, you can. But make sure, I want to tell people how to live or fan. I really don't. But the consternation over it brought me back to a really dark time of just kind of dumb discourse. Oh, Gojira is so good. So good.
Plus,
and the funny thing is, they sound so heavy and hardcore. All of their lyrics are about, like, the beauty of the earth, the wondrous feeling of dipping your head in a stream. It's all about the earth and loving each other and things like that.
But even if that wasn't your thing, I thought another do this moment. Celine Dion. Coming back after the health issues that she's battled, and while stiff person syndrome sounds kind of kooky, apparently it was horrific for her.
She saw like a clip from a documentary that's either already been made or being made about her, and she let a camera into the room while a doctor was working with her, and it was heartbreaking.
Gnarly. And to come back and singing the Eiffel Tower, and come on, that was
slayed
an amazing
She
moment.
absolutely slayed it.
Now I experienced it slightly different in a way that just Ben would. So I was watching with my son, and here's what we did, because this is very us. When they were doing the parade of athletes down the barges, down the Seine River, they go alphabetically, but in French. So we were trying to guess which country would come up next, just based on our geographic knowledge of the world. like what would come. Okay, Nicaragua just came up. What would be the next N country? That would be North Korea. And we did this like for good 30, 45 minutes, just guessing alphabetically the countries of the world. Pretty fun, actually.
I don't want to laugh at you because you're doing something with your kid that you both enjoyed and educational. It wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It didn't jog anything in my mind at all. But yeah. DJ Vic says that's
different strokes for different folks.
DJ says that was absolutely disgusting. I can't believe you approve of that mockery. It's adam.klug@odyssey.com. And the funny thing is like they're going to be offended about my non-offense, so then they're going to write Adam an email because I was not enough offended. So it's adam.klug@odyssey.com. So I didn't want to do this today, but we will, and we did. Speaking of don't do this, what these two guys did to me on Friday is a don't do this. And they pranked me, and they just killed me.
I don't think it's a don't do this.
I think it is a don't do this. I think it is.
I think we have just going to agree to disagree on this one.
You guys got me so good. We'll play that for you at 8.
Thank you. Paulie had a do this from
DD Mega
the trade deadline. I missed this.
Oh, this was awesome. So Randy Arozarena was traded to Seattle. Was that Thursday night?
Yeah,
that it was reported.
Yeah, we talked about it on Friday morning.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But Friday night he was still in Tampa, but he was no longer a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. And I saw a clip going around. He still went to the game. Now he didn't go through the player's entrance and sitting in the dugout. He's no longer a member of the Rays.
Yeah, you get a couple of days, I think, after you're traded.
Well, he also played this weekend for the Mariners.
Yeah, but he get traded that afternoon.
Probably a full Friday to grab your stuff, collect everything,
and went to the game and sat with his family.
It was really cool.
It was really cool, and you could see his wife in tears, and he had big sunglasses on. He was clearly emotional. He had his child with him. Then he got up. Walked up through the concourse, was signing, taking pictures. It was emotional, man. I mean, that's where
fun
that's
little
where he
send
came
off.
Up. Yeah, very cool.
See if he can help the Seattle Mariners fix their offense that just is not matched up to their pitching staff, and they've actually been caught by the Houston Astros now, which is they were probably not expecting that considering how the Astros started the season. All right, that's don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We did talk about yesterday's loss, but we haven't really gotten into the 2 wins. We need to give them their credit and their due.
Whoa, big time.
Especially Friday.
Oh.
Whew. Now, you said there are no moral victories. I was hoping for a moral victory on Friday. Got an actual victory on Friday. Maybe the most surprising win of the year for the San Diego Padres. Talk about that when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Another trade just came down. Stove continues to boil, Ben. The water on the stove, I should say.
Yeah.
The stove doesn't boil. It's just a stove. Kansas
If
City.
your stove is boiling, check. Get a new
Call
stove.
the fire department. Yeah, the Kansas City Royals have just acquired right-hander Michael Lorenzen from the Texas Rangers. And going back to the Rangers is left-handed reliever Walter Pennington. Sounds made up.
AAA reliever.
Yep.
Having a good season, but wasn't a top 30 prospect in their system before the year. So just kind of an arm on the rise for a mediocre 4th to 5th starter.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Padres could use a mediocre 4th to 5th starter.
Michael Lorenzen would have been a great fit here.
And the price tag isn't insane, which gives me at least some hope.
Gives me a little hope, yeah.
You know, maybe there's a player out there on the Michael Lorenzen mold that could work for the Padres. Now, maybe they were in on Lorenzen. Maybe they weren't. Maybe he's not someone that AJ and his scouts think that highly of, and they've got their sights set on another pitcher like that. I don't think that they're going top of the market, though. I think Crochet, not going to happen for the Padres.
Well, you say that, man.
I do say that.
You say it. Holy cow. You say it, but you just...
We've thought it before and been wrong.
Oh, we've been so wrong. And you know, again, the point was made on Twitter yesterday. All the people that the Padres are linked to, and I think they're still linked to Snell, Crochet, Scooble. I think, of course, you're going to make calls and find out if you could potentially, work some magic. But if A.J. Preller has shown us anything, I mean, did anybody on this radio station or anywhere else say Jason Adam is a guy they're going to be targeting? No. The answer is no.
Oh, you just didn't hear me on Friday.
Oh, yeah. You probably did drop that in. The answer is no. It's no. He works kind of behind the scenes, around the margins, and, he's really good at that. So now, hopefully, this acquisition really helps bolster the bullpen, but I certainly don't think he's done by a long stretch. But we'll see. We'll see. But there's another one off the board, but the price tag was not through the roof at all. Like, not even a little bit. So Tyler Anderson is another name they've been connected to. But again, I always feel with AJ, if there's smoke with AJ, there's not necessarily fire, right? Like, anytime that there's a little smoke around a guy, he usually pivots and goes another direction. And I don't think, I don't think that's why he pivots and goes another direction. I just think that he's working on deals that nobody has any idea of. One thing we do know about the Padres front office over the last couple of years, and you guys can back me up on this, it's been pretty tight-lipped. Pretty tight-lipped. Not a lot of stuff has snuck out. Now,
there was a couple of years where it was like nothing was kept.
Nothing was kept in, and I think they
figured it out.
They figured out how to keep that stuff inside.
Keep in mind that when you're assessing the value of a potential trade, as fans, we immediately just think, well, how good is that player?
Sure.
But when you're an executive, sometimes a more important part of the equation is how expensive are they and how much control is left on that player, which is why the price tag on Jason Adam was fairly high. 2 more years of pretty affordable control for a really good reliever, whereas the price tag for someone whose contract is expiring or is more expensive is not going to be that high. Look at a guy like Tyler Anderson. He's got $13 million next year and the remainder of $13 million this year. He's kind of right in the middle there in terms of affordability. Garrett Crochet, though, he's got multiple years at an affordable price tag pre-free agency. The price tag is going to be way, way higher for a guy like that, considering how good he's been. But that's a huge part of the equation when it comes to the trade deadline.
Not only how good he's been, his demands. His demands of...
Which that's pushing down the value again.
Exactly. So you just never know what he's able to swing and what they're able to work out. John Morosi, 37 seconds ago. Dodgers are among the teams discussing Yusei Kikuchi trade proposals with the Blue Jays. The Twins, Padres, and Astros also are involved. A Kikuchi deal is seen as very likely before the trade deadline ends tomorrow.
Whew. But again, he's been struggling lately. Now, that doesn't mean he can't turn it around and be fixed. He's been a pretty solid starting pitcher, but you're not buying high right now on Yusei Kikuchi.
Yeah.
All right, let's check traffic. When we come back, talk about the wins from over the weekend for the San Diego Padres in Baltimore next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is crash on southbound 163, just past the 15. It's in a center divide. Motorcycle involved in that. Now, westbound side of the 8 for the 125 got a collision over to the right shoulder. A couple vehicles involved. And traveling on northbound 15 near the 8, there's a collision over to the right shoulder. In peak wildfire season as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And baseball coverage on The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Well, I will say Friday was a surprise to me. In fact, on Friday, I told you my parents were celebrating their 50th anniversary.
That's right. Okay.
My brother and sister and I got together, got them a bottle of Dom Perignon, chilled it, delivered it to their hotel where they were staying in Del Mar.
You're bearing the lead.
What?
You know what?
What?
Tell us what you did with how you got the bottle of Dom.
Costco.
Right. Did you make money off this deal?
I mean, I don't know. My brother and sister both Venmo'd me $100.
Right.
And as we said, let's get a good bottle of champagne.
Okay.
Dom was the best they had. Its retail value is like $300 to $400, but at Costco it was like $250 something plus tax. So what? Maybe I $20 or something at the end of the day. I mean, not a lot. I also did all the legwork and driving.
I was going to say
delivering and everything.
I was going to say. That's the cost of doing business for your brother and your sister. That's the cost of doing business when they say, "I can't make it. I know you can. I'll give you if you make a little extra cash off this, that's fine."
My point of the story though is that I pulled in about 4:20 to drop off the champagne at their hotel, and Adam Major had just walked the first 2 batters of the game.
Yeah,
and I walk up and my parents can't get the game on the TV in the hotel room, and I go, don't worry about it. They're going to get absolutely slaughtered today. Just enjoy your evening.
Yes.
Don't worry about the Padres. You'll be better off than the rest of us who have to watch the game. And, of course, I get a text from my mom the next morning. They won? You told me they were going to lose. Well, I really did think they were going to lose on Friday night. It had to be the most surprising outcome of the season, maybe, for the San Diego Padres, with Adam Major on the mound, walking the first 2 batters in the bottom of the first inning. I'm going, this is going to get ugly.
Yeah, got the double play, and then it gave you that little tiny glimmer of hope. And think about this, man. You beat the Baltimore Orioles. You started Adam Major. You used Austin Davis and Logan Gillespie in the same game, and you won that game 6-4. Thank you to one Jurickson Profar. My God, that man is on a different planet. Xander Bogaerts, 3 for 4 with a double. Jackson Merrill, Hassan Kim, Campusano, each had 2-hit games. Just fantastic. And I loved the aggressiveness of Mike Shildt.
Don't let them see Adam Major too much.
That's exactly right, man. I mean, we were talking about, I said, man, if you can get 9 outs, that would be tremendous. He went 2 2/3.
8.
Even better. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. 1 earned run, 2 walks. The walks are so confounding because, again, not like I sit and watch his minor league starts, but all the reports on Adam Major, no, he's a control guy. When he gets to the big leagues, Benny, he loses the zone. And I don't know if it's nerves still. I don't know what it is. But, hey, again, great managing by Mike Shildt because you won that game. They were aggressive by pulling him out of there. Jurickson Profar just carried us.
So we heard. Now, do we have both the calls of the Jurickson Profar home run? Jesse's was great. I heard that one earlier in the week, but fantastic. The second go-ahead home run. I mean, he just putting the team on his back incredibly.
Profar swings, hits it in the air, deep to center field. Mullins is back, still going back, at the wall, gonna go! Second of the night for Profar. Padres go back in front in the 9th inning. Jurickson with his 18th of the year, and it's 6-4.
Off of Craig Kimbrell, the former Padre, but Paulie always does a little more legwork on these. And you realize the Orioles actually been scuffling a little bit. They were probably looking at that game as like, okay, this is one we've got to win to kind of turn things around and get going. And after they scored the 2, they tied it up. I think they were feeling pretty good, and the Padres just crushed their soul. Jurickson did in the 9th inning.
Driven to deep center by Profar. Mullins racing back. It's gone. Jurickson, Profar's second 2-run homer of the night.
Wow.
6-4 Padres.
Well, just punch me in the throat.
I just almost passed out.
Well, just punch me in the throat.
That is
That's a tournament of drops.
That's an all-timer.
Who was that? Who's on the
Who's on the broadcast? That was
I don't know who the
spectacular.
Orioles announcers are,
Well,
but
just punch me in the throat.
I mean, soul stolen by Jurickson Profar. Man,
they snatched it, dude. They snatched the soul out of the Baltimore Orioles that night. Holy smokes.
Jeff Arnold, Kevin Brown, Scott Carson.
Yeah, Kevin Brown's the play-by-play. He was the guy who was suspended. He was one of them at least. But
Ben McDonald, somebody said. Dominic says Ben McDonald. I remember him.
Former top draft pick, right?
Bro, you couldn't have collected and hoarded more Ben McDonald cards than your old pal Woodsy did back in 1989 or something. I mean, my dad and I were like, this is the next Tom Seaver. I got another one. I mean, we hoarded them.
That was your retirement.
It's kindling now. He had him and Greg Olson, who were on the same team, had 2 of the nastiest hammers that I have ever seen in my whole life. Why that guy didn't go on to become Cy Young is beyond me. But
well, just punch me in the throat.
I mean, now I feel like I want to hear the call from Saturday's game when Urias and Henderson collided and dropped the pop-up, because if they were already feeling bad about Friday, that was the key just that got the Padres going in the second inning on Saturday when 2 on, 2 out, you get the pop fly. You feel like, okay, Dean Kramer, I'm out of the inning. And a lack of communication, the second base or the shortstop and third baseman run into each other. Padres score 2 and never look back in that game. Went on, of course, to the 9-4 win with Michael King. Just another outstanding effort. I mean, 6 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, and that doesn't really do it justice because both of those runs scored after he left the game.
Yeah.
If you wanted to press him, you might have gotten out of that inning too. They didn't because they didn't need to, but gets his 9th win of the season. And you had 3-hit games from both Manny Machado, who hit the 3-run homer, and Xander Bogaerts, who doubled and tripled and has really been, I mean, you predicted it. I don't know why.
I don't know how or why.
But you said, I think Xander Bogaerts is going to finally get going here after coming off the injured list, and he certainly has. First it was all singles.
Yeah.
Now it's extra base hits. Now he's full Xander at the moment. Can he keep it this way for the rest of the season? Man, that would be a difference maker for the Padres.
There's no question. Congratulations to Manny Machado for getting his, on one swing, 998th, 999th, and 1,000th career RBI. What a career for Manny. Really, really special moment for him to hit that bomb there in that game. But Michael King, man, star of the game for me, certainly just continues to go out and pitch like a boss, just like a total boss. Every time he grabs the ball, you feel like you have a good chance to win. So I loved that game Saturday. That was epic. I was on the golf course actually that day, watching in the cart, and it was awesome.
I also think quietly, Jackson Merrill continuing to do Jackson Merrill things. Had a couple of sacrifice flies and a double in that game. Had an RBI double on Friday. The power, which was like, remember he had that week and a half where everything just seemed to be going out of the yard.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappeared again, and
which
he had
is
a couple
fine.
of warning track flies, but he continues to come through when you need to make contact. He's doing it.
Good ABs, man.
He's not showing the signs that some rookies do of a very long season of just kind of petering out and running out of gas. If there is one guy who's kind of running out of gas lately, it's been Jake Cronenworth. Not going to get too panicked, but after a hot start, he's definitely not swinging it as well as he has lately. Maybe it's just a regular slump. I'm not going to worry too much about Jake. He's always putting the work in, and hopefully he'll get going again. But he's definitely
he's like in a 3 for 30 right now, and he's hit some balls hard in that stretch as well. It's just not finding the holes, but yeah, man. I mean, look, they talked about it. Kevin Acee did again this morning. Like Donovan Solano is there's another series where he didn't play. Ben, it's a nice time. I mean, he can hit righties as well. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to platoon him, but to get Jake a little breather. I expect Jake to be in there, certainly against Glasnow. But I think against Kershaw, maybe a Donovan Solano start at first base.
We have seen the rotation of the DHs where Jake DH today, Arise DH today, Xander DH today, and they're just getting kind of guys off their feet and keeping them out in the field like 2 out of every 3 days. Manny, DH today.
Good point here by Ray. Let's shout out Victor Rodriguez. The much maligned hitting coaches of the San Diego Padres over the years. Victor Rodriguez has got these guys playing good baseball. We're going to give him all that credit.
Hold on to that. He deserves more than the last 10 seconds here, so we'll get to that. But we have our audio from the prank we pulled on Woods on Friday after the show.
I can't believe you did this to me.
Coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, we're halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Lovely to be here with all of you guys listening. Not so much these two absolute knuckleheads for throwing one by me on Friday. Holy crap. Savor the moment, fellas. Savor the moment.
Doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, it doesn't happen
You're
very
tough to
often.
get.
But, man, did you guys get me good? I haven't heard this, and I don't know that I want to.
I haven't either because I had to pull it off. I had to leave the room.
Correct.
So really, Paulie gets the credit. He had to play with the straight face and sell you, do the acting job to sell you on what we were trying to convince you was going to happen.
Oh my God!
When you're going on vacation.
All right. Well,
and I don't feel bad about this because I've worn it plenty when I've gone on vacation. So it only feels somewhat fair that something had to happen when you're heading to Hawaii for 6 shows.
Ben goes on vacation.
I've never missed 6 shows in a row. Ever.
Well,
I guess to set the scene for this, about 5 minutes of audio
5 minutes
that you're about to
my
hear.
God.
It went on that long?
Oh, yeah.
So this was after the show on Friday.
That's how upset this man was.
We went into another studio to do our promo production work.
Every Friday, well, every day, after every show, we do a 15-second promo. Hey, coming up on Monday, here's what we got, and it plays over the weekend. Right. So we recorded that, and then...
Sometimes one or both of us has to stay for other production, commercials, things like that. But I
told Woods he had production.
Yeah.
He didn't actually have
production. That's not even a real spot.
That was just...
So that gave me the excuse to leave the room and let Paulie talk behind my back.
Right.
And since you had a spot to record, we had a hot mic.
Oh, yeah. Hate
that I recorded every single word.
It
only took me a couple of hours to censor all of your curses, but well, let's just take you to Friday afternoon, Friday morning.
I guess if you have little ears, I guess turn it down. They're bleeped, but why not? Here we go.
Ready?
All right, promo. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Coming up Monday, tune in for Woods' last show before he heads out on vacation.
Yeah, I mean, we'll also talk Padres Orioles and see how they did.
Now, that ran all weekend.
Okay. Yeah. I'm good to go.
You got it.
Ready.
See you Monday.
Later, bud.
See ya. Real quick.
Yeah.
You got a second?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he gone? Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
I am freaking out right now about next week. Like, I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place here because me and Ben have been trying to come up with ideas. Like we told you about, it was coming in on Thursday and all that. But, like, Ben is killing me right now.
Why?
You're going to freak out. He wants Dave Roberts to come in. The Dodgers will be in town, and he's been texting with Dave Roberts about having him come in.
The manager of the Dodgers, Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
In here.
He was like, if I have a chance to have an MLB manager in,
there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way we can do it.
It's his show too, though. Like, I don't know what to say.
It's like, why the would you torpedo a show just to have like a San Diegan in here when I'm gone? Like, if you wouldn't do
I already vetoed like 3 of his bad ideas.
Bro, if you wouldn't do an interview when I'm here, then you shouldn't do it when I'm gone. There's nobody on the planet that I would say, oh, I'm only going to interview them when Ben's out of town. Right? Like, that's in the best interest of Ben and not the best interest of our show and, like, our audience. And, dude, there's no chance. There's no way.
Like,
there's
he's
no
like,
way.
He is set on making this happen. Like I said, they've already been texting.
Oh, my God.
And
dude.
I'm like,
no way.
Can I call in sick? like, what do I tell him? I mean, if he's already he's like, this is happening.
Dude,
like, the Ben and Woods show still goes on. It's not the same when all 3 of us aren't there. It's not going to be as funny if you're not there, but We can't have the manager of the Dodgers in studio.
There's no chance. None. Like, it can't happen. I can't. I don't know. Like, it is his show too, but like, we have like a brand, and like, our brand is not. Like, that's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that he would like think of that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. I don't want to get you in trouble, but clearly he's hiding it from me. Clearly, because he hasn't told me.
No, that's been just a direct text with me.
Oh my God!
Over the last like 2 days.
I was already. Anytime you leave, you're nervous about like, how's the show going to go? But like, you can't just torpedo it when somebody leaves town. I don't do 4 hours of music talk when he leaves. I don't. I like try to stay as close to the thing as possible. Oh my God, dude. This is like makes my stomach hurt. It literally makes my stomach hurt. I don't know what to say. I mean, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Like, do I tell Adam?
Like, you can't be the producer of the show being like, hey, the host, because you know what Adam will say? Well, he is an MLB manager, and it is a big guest. It would get a lot of publicity, and dude, I mean, is there a good bit in it? Maybe, but like, I don't want it. You can't have
That
it.
feels like one step forward, 69 steps back.
You can't do it. You can't. He can't do it. He must be out of his mind.
I was spun out.
And look, if Dave Roberts was from Cleveland, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't even consider it. But because Dave Roberts went to RBV, he's going to be like, come on in. Let's talk some Padres Dodgers. Holy. Like, you could tell me, Woodsy, Oral Hershiser and Joe Davis want to come by the studio. And I'd be like, there's no over my dead body. Over my dead body. Well, the one guy won a World Series. The other guy's, the heir apparent. There's no way, Paulie. No way. There's no way. How has he ruined my vacation? I haven't even left yet. Hey, dude. I'm going to throw up. I'm literally going to throw up.
Do I tell him I told you? Like, that's not good either.
That's not. I don't want to.
He obviously doesn't want you to know.
He clearly doesn't want me to know because he didn't say anything. Oh my God.
I was shaking.
I don't know. Let me do this spot and I'll think about it and we'll flush it down the toilet later. What a clown. Oh, I can't believe him, dude. I cannot believe. Actually, I can. I believe. I believe it. I believe every second of it. What is it? Juicy?
Yeah.
Well, there it is. And listen. So
our plan was
just to let you stew all weekend.
Just fume all weekend long, and then
reveal it this
probably
morning,
like 9:30, kind of
right.
as we're saying goodbye to you for the next week. Send you off with that and reveal that, hey, it was just a prank, but we had to speed up the timeline just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you guys thought Woods was a psychopath from that audio. This guy called me. He called me twice on the drive home.
Yes, twice.
It's a 20-minute drive. He called me twice. Probably 3 more times on Friday. And finally, I had enough. And I said, I'm not doing this all effing weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and I would have let him stew all weekend. But imagine like the first 2 hours of the show, him thinking that I'm still planning to have like Dave come in the morning, and he's not knowing it, and how like internally like seething. It would have wrecked the show today. So we had to let him know.
I told Ben, I said, you need to call or text Woods and just let him know it was a prank. We're just messing with you. Ben's buddy's not coming in on Tuesday morning.
It's the best prank that's ever been pulled on me.
No.
Ever. And I didn't doubt it for one single solitary second. Not one. Because
Is that bad for me then?
You do a great job.
Doubt it at all?
It happened before. I was out one time, and this was a few years ago. I think, were we at the old station?
I think we were here.
Were we here?
Pretty sure.
And you had DR on.
I'm never going to despise Dave like you do, but I'm not going to have him in studio.
Look, it's nothing personal, but it's also like it's
Go
not,
Dave Roberts.
It's not personal. He's, by all accounts, a really good guy. But it's just the fact of the matter of like, he can't be in here. And I just thought it's all started to make sense in my head. Of course, they know each other. Ben, you do a great job. Dave comes in here and chops it up with you guys for an hour about the Dodgers and their, I picture myself sitting on a beach in Hawaii with my head between my legs, just. Now, just to confirm. That's not happening, right?
That's not happening. I haven't even texted him.
Yeah, take on Dave.
Years.
How about that? Take on Dave. Share. I don't know. I mean, you guys crushed me.
So, and you don't actually come off looking that badly. You're defending San Diego. You're defending everything about the show that people love. So that's fine. I do have a note or so.
I apologize for calling you a clown.
And not only that.
He was very upset.
I believe the quote may have been something as though, I guess it's his show too.
It is.
I guess.
It is your show. It is your show too.
I said that. I said, look, this is Ben's show too.
You say yes, but you kind of sort of agreed with that comment.
I think you're taking it a little bit. I said well, I guess. I mean, it's his show too. Oh, I'm pouring sweat. I apologize for my passion and fervor, Ben. I don't think you're a clown. If you had him in, though, I would have called him a clown.
And I would have been.
I would have. Oh, you guys got me. You should feel my underarms right now. I mean, I'm just pouring sweat.
I'm glad I didn't have to be in the room for it. Paulie had the hard job. He had to be in the room and
how hard
play along.
Crack a smile.
You acted. Yeah. You were like Marlon Brando in there. You had me so convinced. The rock in a hard place. Oh my, yeah, because that is an impossible situation for a producer. Impossible.
Right. I care
one
about
host,
the show.
Yeah, but one host trying to do something that is not going to be right, and you have to be like, "Hey, bro, I don't think this is a good idea." And Ben's like, "No, I'm dead set on it." I feel so much better about vacation now knowing that it's not going to happen. But Friday afternoon, ask my wife, I was in a tizzy. A tizzy. I had a haircut I had to go to. I was pouring sweat. And then once you guys let me off the hook, I slept like a baby. I didn't mention it to anyone, to no one, because I knew we would play that today. You guys, well done, both of you. I want to give you. I'm actually very proud of both of you. You guys crushed me.
Now, what are we going to do for the next 6 days?
Well, I know what. Most importantly, I know what you're not
do.
going to do.
I definitely know what we can't do.
Over and over.
That's out.
And over.
No, I want you to have a good time. We will.
We do have some fun stuff.
Hold down the fort. We do have some fun stuff. Some actual San Diego type guest hosts coming in.
But didn't go to RBV.
Didn't go to RBV.
Did he not?
Not the manager of the Dodgers.
Oh, okay. Oh, he did, didn't he?
Dave did.
Dave,
But
yeah,
the guest,
Dave did.
our actual guest host, I don't think is any RBV guys. So
you guys, man. What the ultimate prank, like Enrique just said, or no, Jonathan just said, the ultimate prank would be for him to come in now. Now that you,
we told you, we literally told you
he was coming.
But what if he came in, but I was just grilling him relentlessly?
You wouldn't do that.
No. And you wouldn't do that.
I couldn't do that. So that's why he's not coming in.
I'd still say no.
Oh my God! All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back. We got more Padres talk certainly on the way. In season, Sammy is going to join us here at the bottom of the hour. Covered all the pre and the post game shows of a very eventful weekend and road trip. I mean, we gotta just kind of the whole road trip in terms of what it means for the rest of the Padres season. That is coming up with Ben and Woods, check traffic, and then right back with more on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's exhausting. You guys have killed me. Feel good about yourselves?
I
over
don't
there?
feel
really
good
good
about
about
taking
myself.
any years off your already limited lifespan, but
I guess when you put it that way.
Can feel my heart.
I'm glad we didn't let you stew all weekend.
There's no way I would have. I would have ended up.
Like if you yelled at your children or something.
Yeah, just
because of
over
us.
it. Yeah. No, my kids were actually great this weekend. I have no complaints. They're just saving it all up for the flight tomorrow. I imagine the 6-hour flight to let it all out on the way to Kauai tomorrow. So, yeah, man. I'm going to miss you guys, and now I'm just sitting here thinking of payback and what a B it actually is.
See, now you make me not want to do it again. I don't want to be stewing over payback. I feel like that was payback for you, and now we're good and even going forward.
Fair enough.
Speaking of going forward, Padres go forward after what goes down as one of the best road trips in franchise history. If had they won yesterday, it would have been their best record in a road trip of at least 9 games.
Is that right?
All time. They had never won 8 in a row on the road in franchise history either. Got to 7, couldn't quite get it all the way, but it was.
Well, they tried, man.
It was really a season-changing sort of road trip. Not that they would have been sellers at the break had they gone 4-5 or even 3-6. I think they were always kind of buying, but it puts them in such a different position. I mean, look at the standings this morning in the National League wild card race and think about where the Padres would be. We all agree they could have easily gone 3-6 on that road trip without missing a beat, and we all would have come here today and go, well, it could have been worse. I mean, yeah, it wasn't ideal, but we always knew that was going to be a really tough road trip. So instead, they go 7-2. They're now 1 game behind the Atlanta Braves for the wild card lead, the first wild card spot. And they are half a game ahead of the Mets, who are the third wild card team. But the Arizona Diamondbacks are just a half game back from the Mets. The Cardinals are another half game back, and the Pirates are just 1 game back. So had the Padres gone even 4-5, so 3 more losses, they would suddenly be looking up at the Pirates, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves right now on the eve of the trade deadline. Not that it would be insurmountable. They'd only be a couple of games out of a playoff spot, but still, look at what a difference that road trip makes. 7-2 versus even 4-5, where they are right now with, by the way, the season ends 2 months from today.
2 months.
September 29th is the last day of the season. So 2 months from today, it will be over. Not quite the final push, but we are getting close to the what we would say the playoff chase is really upon us. And you really can start officially kind of looking at the standings and, watching the scoreboard a little bit, getting an idea of which teams you'd like to see lose at this point in the season. It's starting to come into focus a little bit more.
Yeah, you'd like to get to a point, too, and you look at their schedule. And listen, I'm not dumb enough to sit here and fall for it and come in here and tell you guys, hey, don't worry. August is very light. There are some very beatable teams there. Very beatable teams. You cannot have a backslide. This is a real chance to separate, in August, but you still got to play the games, man. Those teams are trying to win too. You're going to have teams with guys that are playing for a career. You're going to have guys that are playing for their first time in the big leagues that want to impress. They're finally making big league money. They want to be back next year, and I'm talking about 3 against the Rockies, 3 against the Pirates, 3 against the Marlins, 3 more against the Pirates, 3 more against the Rockies, and then you get a little meaty with the Twins, the Mets, the Cardinals, the Rays at the end of August. August starts off where you look at it and go, this is a really good chance to do some damage, to separate yourselves. And what happens remains to be seen, but it's right there. It's right there in front of you. You cannot backslide. You got to fortify this team, and you got to keep playing the inspired baseball that you've been playing.
Bill in the chat says, I think 27-27 gets us in. That would be 84-78. And while I think maybe like a month ago I would have said, 84 wins might actually get you in. That was when, teams that were below 500 were still in the top 3. You've had the Mets play a lot better. The Diamondbacks have played better. The Cardinals have held on. I'm not sure. I'm now thinking maybe 86-87 is more of a safe target, which means Instead of 27 and 27, 30 and 24, that gets you to 87 wins the rest of the way. I mean, that's not an insane clip that you have to play. 30 and 24 the rest of the way, but it also, that's 6 games above 500. That's what the Padres have played this entire season.
The whole year, yep.
57 and 51. So you do need to play a little bit better than you've played over the first 108 games over the last 54 games.
And you're off to a great start since the break. So, and again, all these things factor in. Certainly the schedule softens a little bit. You could potentially be getting some guys back from injury. That helps a little bit. Mike Shilt's teams typically in his career play a little bit better down the stretch. So all these things coming into play. Hopefully it doesn't set us up for massive failure, but the Rally Roach is here, and I choose to believe in the Rally Roach, and I have it here, and I'll kiss it again.
Yeah,
I need you while I'm gone to kiss it, okay?
Signs are good.
Promise?
But yes, I will kiss it every single day while you're gone.
Thank you.
Signs are good. But the rapids, the rocks are still out there that you can hit. Pitching injuries, you're still thin in your starting rotation. We'll see what they do in the next 28 hours plus until the trade deadline. There's problems potentially. But as you said, there's a lot of reasons for optimism. How they're playing, who's coming back.
It's hard. It's hard to be a Padres fan and over the last few years and be optimistic and to be confident, right? To be like, there's no way. Like, I have a really good feeling about this team, but I'm not dumb enough to actually put it on paper or tweet it or anything like that. I'm as optimistic as the next person, but you're really only as good as the last series you played, and that bodes well. These 2 games against LA, while they're big games in the fact that it's the Dodgers, it's just 2 games. It's just 2 games. So, find a way to beat Glass now, find a way to beat Kershaw. If you win one, you split it, big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Padres are, with the 7-game winning streak, they're 7-3 in their last 10. So are the Dodgers. You didn't gain any ground over the last 10 games, so you're still 6.5 back. If they did win both of these in San Diego, you get to 4.5, and then I would say the division is at least somewhat back in play for the Padres. You split or you lose the next 2. Division's probably out of reach. I mean, you need the Dodgers to play really badly. We'll see if they do anything at the break, but they're getting healthier with their pitching rotation. So you really would have to be kind of within 5 in the last 2 months to say, we got a shot at this. I'd love it. I mean, go out, win the next 2, give yourself a shot at it. But we'll be keeping a closer eye on the standings going forward from this point on.
You guys are going to be just monitoring Twitter all day tomorrow. I will be on a plane, but I can't wait to land and see what has happened. Hopefully something comes down today. I'd love to land a starting pitcher. What else do you guys think that they're actively looking for right now?
I mean, you could rent another outfielder for a while, to help out, but until Tatis comes back. But honestly, if all they got was even a 4th or 5th starter, I wouldn't hate where the Padres are for the last couple of months of the season.
Do you think, based on the 7-2 road trip that we just had, and we've been talking about it all morning, did that change A.J. Preller's mentality, his aggressiveness, maybe over the next 30 hours or whatever?
I think it has to. I think human nature tells you, wow, okay.
Like, what were they? They were 500, right, at the deadline, at the All-Star break?
I don't know that. I mean, maybe for our perspective, but for AJ's, he doesn't go with the swings as much as we do. I think he can maybe, if he was already trying to argue, hey, we want to buy, and was getting some pushback from upper management, maybe it's easier to sell it a little bit now.
Did he go from buying on the fringes to possibly going for a home run?
I still don't think that it's that. I still don't think it's he's going to go out now because of a 7-2 and go trade DeVries or Salas.
I think he already believed in the team before they were 7-2. I don't think it changed anything. He and Mike Schilt believed in this team, and they will continue to believe in this team, but they're not necessarily going to trade Leodalis DeVries or Ethan Salas to benefit this team. Anybody else? Yeah. But those 2 guys, I'd still be surprised if either of them left.
100%.
In the next 24 hours. We'll get some thoughts from Sammy Levitt. Covered the whole series, obviously, doing our Padres pre- and post-game show. He'll join us for his weekly in-season Sammy segment coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The Odyssey app always lets you jump back to the moments you missed on 97.3 The Fan. You can see what you missed, click to listen on demand. So if it's a guest, a feature, a prank, something else that happened from earlier, we got you covered. Just download the free Odyssey app, search 97.3 The Fan, and tap earlier today to get started. There was a lot that happened over the weekend in Baltimore. Sam Levitt was covering it all on our pre- and post-game shows. He's going to join us in season Sammy right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Looks like things are already starting to wind down on our roads, guys. Tow truck is helping to clear a crash, though, on the westbound side of the 8th Mission Gorge, getting that moved over to the right shoulder. And got a stalled car on southbound 5 past Mile of Carsway. It's in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Sammy, enjoy the day off today because tomorrow going to be a busy one. Pre-game show just hours after the trade deadline. It's the calm before the storm.
It's not an off day.
For one Sam
It's not a day off for Sammy. It's an off day for the Padres. But rest assured, if there's a trade that goes down, Adam's going to have Sammy doing a bunch.
He was reacting at like 5:30 in the morning, I think, yesterday to the Jason Adam trade. I woke up to a video on my phone. I'm going, I usually get up pretty early. Sammy's already reacting to trades before I even got up on a Sunday.
Well, you know the drill. The moment there is breaking Padres news, did I get a text from your friend Adam Klug at, about like 7:15 a.m.? Hey, can you make a video as you're getting ready for everything else you got to do at 9:35 for the pregame show? But guess what? I sat down, I got it done, and we got the video out. So you know me, I'm always a very good soldier.
God, he did not even text me this time.
Do you think, Adam, I don't know, do you think it crossed his mind, should I call Ben or Woods? I know it's like 7:15 on Sunday morning. He might be asleep.
Would he have wanted us to come in?
Well, just put a video together, like a reaction video. Like, I would have been asleep. If he had called me, I actually was still asleep at like 7:15 on Sunday morning. Just pretty late for me.
I was up, but I was at Bo's baseball. Like, I was getting him ready for baseball practice. I don't know. I was so busy this weekend that I don't know that I would have had the time, but, certainly like the move, Sammy, and helps. It helps. Somebody made the astute point of, hey, man, you get a guy like Jason Adam, that typically should mean that now Robert Suarez doesn't necessarily need to always be counted on for, 4-out saves, which would be great because you do worry about wear and tear on these guys as the season goes on.
Yeah, I think when trades like this are made and it's as steep of a price as the Padres had to pay for Jason Adam, I think there's a lot of going to each of the extremes of the sides of the argument, right? Either it's absolutely what they needed and you got to win right now, or it's the other way and people think they got fleeced. And I think the truth, there's some truth in all of it, right? Like, obviously, just from the purely 2024 perspective, the Padres desperately needed a guy like Jason Adam, a high-leverage guy with great stuff, swing and miss, that they could add into the trio of Morejon, Estrada, and Suarez. It lengthens the bullpen. You're right, it takes some pressure off of Robert Suarez. Maybe it takes some pressure off your starting pitchers who, a couple of them are already above their career high in innings. So it makes a ton of sense going and getting this guy. Was it a steep price? Yeah. Have the Padres, got rid of a lot of what their depth was in the last few months in the minor leagues between the Arise trade, the Cease trade, and now this trade? Those things can all be true at once, but this front office and A.J. Preller has shown time and time again that when they're in it, they will err on the side of being aggressive. And this was another aggressive move to get a piece that they really, really needed. And look, I understand that the price was high. That's partially just what the market is right now. Look at the trades right now across the game. And even for some relievers like Hunter Harvey or the trade for Carlos Estevez, the Phillies gave up maybe 2 future major league starting pitchers for a rental in Estevez. And Adam has 2 years of control. Will Dylan Lesko maybe be a frontline starter one day? Maybe. Who knows? But, there's a strong argument to be made that you've got the team you've got with stars on it that are in their primes. You're right in this thing. And you're in win-now mode, and you got to keep operating like that for the most part. I understand it. I do.
Sam, do you agree that there has to be a starting pitcher coming by tomorrow? Because the alternative is more Adam Major or a Johnny Brito who's had some a tightness in his forearm. I mean, there's really no other options, right? I mean, you're going to have to need that fifth starter. Even if Joe Musgrove comes back pretty soon, then you're counting on Randy Vasquez and how many innings he's got left. You're already worried about Michael King's innings.
Well, and you're worried about Musgrove's pitch count of 50.
I mean, even if it's a number 5 guy that can just chew up some innings, I feel like there has to be a starter coming by tomorrow at 3:00, right?
If you would have asked me 24 hours ago, or I should say a little bit more than that, before the trade for Adam, I would have said absolutely. I can't envision a scenario where they get through tomorrow afternoon and there's not a starter added. But I'll tell you what, and again, I'm just speculating here, but when you heard A.J. Preller after the trade talk about, he was asked pretty point blank, about adding a starter, and the first thing he did was start talking about the internal options they have. And again, are we going to read into that answer from AJ? I don't think so, right? I mean, he never says much about any trade he's going to make.
No, any of them. That could be poker, poker face as well.
Absolutely, no, absolutely, and I agree with that. But with that said, once you start looking at the prices for some of this stuff, I mean, if Jason Adam cost what he cost, what's a starting pitcher going to cost? Unless, they go outside the rental market and they do something really big. And that's a Crochet, that's a Scooble. Are they willing to pay the price for one of those guys, which may have to include one of their top 2 prospects? I don't know the answer to that. What I do wonder, and again, I'm just speculating here, what I do wonder is this, with Joe Musgrove pitching on Tuesday in Arizona, he's going to pitch in a controlled scenario, basically a simulated game against Mariners minor league hitters. He talked after the game yesterday and, threw out the idea the next day he would pitch would be Sunday, if the Padres won. And I don't know how much this is Joe being optimistic versus reality, but he threw out the idea that, hey, if he was good to go for 3 innings on Sunday, and they had a fresh bullpen, could they look to do something like that? Or could he come back, after making another rehab start, come back at 4 innings? And, look, is there a scenario where they're kind of looking at it with, Joe maybe on the precipice of returning in some capacity and saying maybe we can get through this and get through the regular season with the guys we got? Maybe that seems a little ambitious because I think we all agreed a couple of days ago that they needed a starting pitcher in a really bad way. Look, I still would be surprised if they don't add a starter. But meanwhile, we're almost 24 hours away from the deadline. It hasn't happened yet. And, man, those prices are going to be really high for anybody, as we've seen.
But I think, talking to Sammy Levitt here on Ben and Woods this morning, I think teams absolutely can overplay their hands. I do, and I think it's the needle that you have to thread. I mean, if you're the Colorado Rockies and you're asking the moon back for Cal Quantrill, you're probably not going to get it. And if you continue to ask for the moon for Cal Quantrill up until the deadline, you're probably not going to get it. Would Cal Quantrill help this team? Yes. Tyler Anderson, should not. You shouldn't take 2 top 10 prospects to get a Tyler Anderson. So I think it goes both ways. I think teams can absolutely overplay their hand, just like A.J. Preller has hyped up prospects that other teams are willing to take, where you look at it and you go, wow, I didn't know that guy had that much value. And that happens all the time. So I think in the interest of sometimes getting a deal done, you may overpay a little bit. But these guys, if they want to move these guys, they're going to have to take one of the deals that they get.
Right. And look, I think there is a reality about the situation this team is in right now, okay? They've got big-time contracts, guys in their prime. They've got Dylan Cease here right now. They've got Michael King here right now. Look, the situation from what we've always thought over the last few years, it has not changed despite, the farm system getting rebuilt and the necessity for having younger players like a Jackson Merrill who don't cost a lot and are under control. Yeah, you need those guys. But the window is right now. That has not changed through all of this. And meanwhile, you've got a team that is right in the thick of it. And I think we all agree if they can get there, they have a real chance to make some noise. They really, really do.
Yep.
So, look, they're living in kind of, an interesting scenario that a lot of teams don't necessarily live in, where, they typically tend to go one way or the other. I don't blame the Padres and A.J. Preller for maybe having to overpay to go get something they really, really need for a team that is capable of winning right now.
Sammy, I don't expect Leo Dallas DeVries or Ethan Salas to be traded. We saw some reports this weekend, including in the Rays trade, that they went for Taj Bradley. I'm assuming that the reason it didn't work out is that the Rays said, okay, but we need one of those guys at least, and the Padres are saying no to those players, and I'm okay with that. I don't know that Ethan Salas and or DeVries is going to be a star, but I know there's a lot of potential that those guys could be well above average Major League Baseball players for at least 12 years of control coming up, and I'm willing to gamble on that. And if it means that you only get a fifth starter here at the deadline, I can live with that. That's my take.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think where I land on it is I'm in the mindset of, hey, you've got to try to improve this team any way you can without trading those two guys. And so to me, everybody else should be available. Whatever you have to do beyond trading those two, I'm okay with that. And that's what yesterday's move felt like to me, right? Okay, we're going to overpay for a reliever who does have 2 years left of control, but he is a reliever. It is a steep price. But you know what? We're going to try our best to make this team as good as it can possibly be and get to October, and we'll take it from there. And, yeah, I'm with you. I think if you're in the camp of people like you, Ben, who have a mindset of I'm cool with whatever as long as you don't touch those two in DeVries and Salas, then I'm really okay with that strategy. And I think you just have to accept that, yeah, the cupboard may be a little bit bare beyond those two, heading into the off season. But I'm very much also in that mindset right now. I don't blame them for going that way if that's the way they go.
Sammy, as always, I really appreciate it. I know you'll have your finger on the pulse of what's going on with the San Diego Padres. Even if we don't hear from you until the pregame show tomorrow, you're going to be all over on social media. Give them a follow at Sammy Lev, and we will talk to you again next week, if not sooner.
And don't forget, Wednesday, the roundtable. I will be there.
Oh, are you in for Woods? Oh, thank you for coming in and filling in. That's right. As Sammy mentioned, this week's roundtable is going to be a day early on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, a special wrapping up the trade deadline roundtable. So join Annie and Elston, Gwen and Chris, and Sammy Levitt in for Stephen Woods from Wednesday from 10 to 11 o'clock for this week's roundtable.
You've made a lot of people very happy, Sammy. Me being the first. So thank you for subbing in. I really appreciate it, and I will have a Mai Tai or a Pina Colada in your honor.
Which one would you choose?
Which one would you choose, Sammy?
I'm a Mai Tai guy.
I love a Pina Colada.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
Yeah, I love
me
a
too.
Pina Colada. I used to have virgin Pina Colada even when I was younger.
100%. It tastes like suntan lotion. My favorite.
What do you feel about getting caught in the rain?
Oh God, sorry, Sammy.
Caught in the rain? I assume this has to do with the prank call I did.
No, it's that song, the Pina Colada song.
Oh, okay.
Getting caught in the rain. It was just a bad joke.
I can't wait for my flight. You guys have a week of that, by the way.
I think you can stream the Odyssey app on the plane if you get the.
Can I?
Yeah, if you get the internet. So
I thought
you can listen to the whole show while you fly from.
No, I can't.
San Diego to Hawaii. Thanks, Sammy.
I can't.
Have a good day.
And I'm not going to.
You're not going to?
No. I'll let you guys do your thing.
It's not paradise if I'm coming along with you.
I don't want to.
Is that what you're saying? That it's no longer paradise if I'm there in your ears the entire time?
I don't want to be, junior pro. We're already playing junior GM today. I almost wore my junior GM shirt, but it's a little snug now. So I decided to. I don't want to play junior PD tomorrow.
How much do you listen when you're off? Not a lot. I will listen like if I'm in the car, like driving away. That's about the extent. But usually it's not a vacation if you're just like living and dying with everything that's going on back in the studio.
I'm sitting there going, what kind of tease was that? What's coming up? I've just forgotten what you said. Like, I don't want to play junior PD when I'm gone. I'll just let you guys do your thing. Explore the creative space. Have fun with it.
Probably a lot of trade deadline talk this week.
I would imagine.
Honest.
Couple big games against the
Couple huge games. That's great.
Now, when we get to Friday after a Thursday off day,
that's the day you can really stretch your legs. Let's see what you're made of.
Special guest Do we have that confirmed?
I think
Is
it's
it Thursday
confirmed,
or
yeah.
Friday?
That's a good question because we had both
We were in between.
listed.
Dave
Let me
Roberts.
See if no, it's not
No.
Dave Roberts. Well, let's see. What day did we end
It's
up
going to be awesome.
deciding on?
Like that. No prank. It's
Can
going
you
to
tease
be
Thursday.
it now or no?
Thursday.
Just want
yeah.
to wait?
Yeah, it's Thursday. It's confirmed.
Okay.
Uncle Teddy's going to be
Yeah,
there.
dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, who better
That's
in this
so
whole
sick.
city to
Yeah.
come in and tell some stories than Uncle Teddy Lightner?
Oh, that's so sick, dude. So cool. I love that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be fun to sit in with him. I've never done a radio show with Ted Leitner. Obviously, we've interviewed him, but to actually sit down in studio with him for an hour or two, I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That's fantastic.
Looking forward to that.
That is really. Are you intimidated a little?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I would be too. Just wind him up. Wind him up.
Well, yeah, that's
Let
the
him
part I'm
go.
looking forward to. Just
Make him
kick back, just lean back in my
and
chair.
let him go. Make sure he tells you again. He's told our audience before. Really get him into the Dodgers. Get him talking about the Dodgers.
Well, it'll be a perfect day on
it's
Thursday.
a perfect day for it. He said
God,
that
I
when
need a
Tommy
Padres win on-
Lasorda.
Yes,
and
he said.
I mean, yeah.
I
He
need a
said
Padres win on Wednesday.
he told
so bad.
He told a story about like a Dodger that got traded to San Diego and sought him out and was like, "Hey, by the way, we hated you, or they hate you. I guess I have to like you now, but you are hated in there." And I went, "Oh, Uncle Teddy, I love it."
I mean, Dylan Cease is pitching on Wednesday, so hopefully carries on right through, and we'll have a really fun Thursday show.
I'm actually jealous.
Teddy.
I'm actually a little bit
Well,
jealous,
you had
and I don't really get
I
jealous.
was jealous when you had Flannery in when
Flan
I was
was
gone,
awesome.
so you can be jealous with Uncle Teddy in studio.
Oh, I love that idea.
Reindl Report, a little Comic-Con wrap-up with Paulie coming up next year on The Fan. Do you think Garrett Crochet gets traded or not here at the trade deadline? Braves are one of the teams now considering him. That was John Heyman's report this morning. But he's got the poison pill that he's already thrown out there, that he won't pitch in the playoffs unless he gets a contract extension.
Does he just love being a White Sox? Is he trying to,
I don't know what it
torpedo
is.
this
No,
deal
it's
before it even happened?
You know, and I saw former players coming to his defense, certainly, and I do understand where he's coming from.
I do too. But
I
I don't,
absolutely
as an
do.
organization, you can't.
That's the thing.
You can't be held hostage
Correct.
to give a guy a contract extension. It has to work for your team.
Yeah.
And there are teams that would love Garrett Crochet, but it doesn't necessarily work to give him an immediate contract extension. You want to see how he fits in with the team, with the club, and I could see, yeah, absolutely. In the offseason, we discuss a contract extension. Next year, we discuss a contract extension. But just to have to do it right now, sight unseen. It's not a palatable necessarily road to go down for a GM, knowing they have to do that if he's going to pitch in the playoffs. But if he's not going to pitch in the playoffs, I mean, what's the point? Yeah, maybe he wins you another couple of games and helps your wild card seed or something. If he's not in the playoffs, then what are we doing here?
Eats a couple innings that King might have had to use up. But
that's it?
But again, you're not giving up.
Yeah, the price is massively
That price,
steep. Yeah.
absolutely not.
Jack Flaherty, another name mentioned with AJ Preller. Padres hoping to add starter. Discussed Jack Flaherty with the Tigers. He's having a really, really good year. Makes $14 million. He's on a 1-year deal with the Tigers. They're not really close. I mean, they're 5.5 game gap in the chase for the final AL wildcard spot. They could hold on to him, make him a qualifying offer, but there's a demand. There's a demand, and they could get a couple of good prospects for him. They would probably consider it. Ben, he's got an ERA under 3 in 106 2/3 innings, 32% strikeout rate, 4.6% walk rate. Don't know what he's going to cost you, but on a 1-year, come finish the season with us type scene, he would be a really nice addition. Just don't know what it's going to cost. Don't know what they're asking for. But, I mean, the price is right. It's absolutely right. Prorated $14 million, done.
Yeah, $14 million prorated, so that's only going to be about
6,
5
yeah.
over the last couple of. You could fit that in.
No problem.
No problem. And well, yeah, you could go over the luxury tax again. I really don't think that's an option for the Padres for multiple reasons. Not just Colonel Budget speaking here. It's more you want to have your maximum international signing bonus if you're going after Roki Sasaki. You can't keep taking these draft penalties. I mean, AJ can't rebuild the farm if he doesn't have draft picks to rebuild the farm because they keep going over the CBT level.
Right.
And they keep getting punished, with that, and it just keeps getting worse the more years you go over. They've gotten so close now. They have to reset it at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not going to be easier to reset it next year if you go over this year.
I'm not mad at them at all for trying to reset that thing. It's pretty brutal for a team like the San Diego Padres who have lost their TV deal and don't get any of that money. I have no problem with it at all. I want ownership to spend as much money as they possibly can without, putting.
And once you do, if the right player comes along, you can go back over again for a year or two without worrying so much about it. But this year after year, it does have to stop. And this is not the owners need to make more money sort of thing. This is competitive reasons that you can't keep going over the luxury tax every year, especially for the Padres.
That's exactly right, man. Especially with all the guys, the long-term deals they're committed to. You just kind of know what you have. So, yeah, man, it's going to be buckle in. I'm trying so hard to not be senioritis Woods right now with an hour left, going on vacation. But also, that's not even it. It's the fact that I just keep scrolling Twitter looking for the next update of who's been moved and what the latest rumors are. So, Paulie, that's when we leave it to you to take us home.
Okay.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see where to start. You know, I was trying to think of how we want to incorporate Olympics coverage over the next couple weeks, and it's weird. I didn't really want to just jam it into the Reindl Report because there's a lot to talk about. I didn't want to isolate one particular event, so we got to figure out how we want to talk a little Olympics over the next couple of weeks.
Well, if Woods was here, maybe we do the Woodsy Olympic Report every day.
The medal count and whatnot.
Yeah.
How are we? How's everything going?
There haven't been any medals yet, right?
No. The U.S. has won 12 medals. They lead the overall medal count. 3 gold medals. They're second, I think, in gold medals. Mostly in swimming because, well, we're really good at swimming.
Yeah.
Well, I want to start with a local note, and this is kind of actually selfish because it just gives me an excuse to make Woods laugh with one of the greatest pictures of all time that this show has ever come across. If you're coming up on the, if you're watching on the YouTube stream,
I remember this.
We'll show it there. But local news here, I saw it in Ben's notes because, of course, it was in Ben's notes. The Strike Force, the San Diego Strike Force, won their first ever playoff game over the weekend. And any chance I get to show the original Strike Force team with our beloved Bert Grossman.
That is a
Looks like a player manager, but he was just
team.
Head coach. And anytime I get to use that,
this picture graces my mantle in my home. By the way, Paulie had it framed for me, and it graces the mantle in our home. It's one of the best pictures of all time, and just as random as can be outside of a Chili's or something for a team dinner. And it just kills me every single time.
It's like they went to Phil's right by the sports arena or something.
One guy over here, he's just looking off the side talking to his buddy.
Not everybody's looking at the camera. Some are, some aren't.
One guy's got his eyes closed.
One guy's got a Dodger cap on.
Any of these guys still on the Strike Force?
I don't think so. I don't think any single one of them has made it. You know, that team, I think, maybe won one game that first year. This team made the playoffs and just upset the number 1 seed, the Bay Area Panthers, last night. 49-40.
Carlos,
wide receiver scored 4 touchdowns.
Carlos, the dude in the Raiders jersey gets me every time. He's my favorite, and I want to be
He's pensive. He's looking off
off
to the
into
side,
thinking about his future.
Bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun's in his eyes.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
He's thinking about where this gig with the Strike Force is going to take him. Maybe
He's
to
like,
the Raiders. Maybe he's on the Raiders right now.
How did I get here? Next to Bert Grossman in front of a Chili's playing for the Strike Force.
They will play the Arizona Rattlers in the Western Conference Finals in Glendale 1 week from today, Woods, if you want to follow that from Kauai. No, I'm sure you can. I think it's
I was thinking about just trying to disconnect a little bit.
I think you can catch it on Amazon Prime via Stadium right now if you want to watch Strike Force playoff action.
I was really just wanted to disconnect this week, not be on, just be present for my family and whatnot.
Could be 2 wins away from a championship for San Diego.
Love it.
All right,
I'll take it. Take whatever I can get.
Got some audio here from Low A, I think, minor league baseball, and this was yesterday between the Asheville Tourists. They are a minor league affiliate for the Houston Astros, and they were playing the Greensboro Grasshoppers, who I believe belong to the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And just found this while scrolling Awful Announcing, and listen to this home run call. Minor League Baseball delivers time and time again with their home run calls. This one, I've never heard anything.
Takes the cake.
Before probably. Houston Astros hit hard toward right field. This is getting toward the fence. This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth when you were gone. Mike Hogwood used to say, kiss that baby goodbye. Kiss that baby goodbye there for the Tourist. Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth when you were gone. That one's gone. Oh, yeah. Tourist add to their lead. 4-0 Tourist. Fisher blast. That's 11 homers for Fisher on the season.
What? Why is he whispering it?
Sounds like someone asked him to incorporate song lyrics into a home run call, but he very unenthusiastically did it. Like, this is a job requirement. My boss said I have to use song lyrics when I call a home run call.
It's Kansas Day at the ballpark.
Kind of like Kansas. All right, carry on my wayward son. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be truth when
peace.
You're going.
There's one person in the entire lower box.
One person. And, I want to hear it again.
Much before probably. Houston Astros hit hard toward right field. This is getting toward the fence. This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be truth when you were gone. Mike Hogwood used to say, kiss that baby goodbye. Kiss that baby goodbye there for the Tourist. Carry on, my wayward son. They'll be truth and you are gone. That one's gone. Oh, yeah. Tourist. Add to their lead. 4-0 Tourist.
I feel like I'm on mushrooms right now. I can't. I'm like, it's not.
I heard that go, what? What the hell?
I
is
mean,
going
imagine
on?
Jesse Agler calling like a Profar home run, and he's like, "No, there's a lady who's sure all the glitters is gold, and he's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows the stores are all closed. With a word, she can get what she came for.
Kiss it goodbye, kiss it goodbye.
Stairway to heaven, Jurickson Profar. Wow. There's a feeling I get when I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving. In my thoughts, I have seen rings of smoke through the trees and the voices of those that stand laughing. Home run, Manny Machado. Song lyrics for Jesse might be pretty elite. Based on
That would be pretty fun.
It's a good tie-in.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not
We've
telling
got-
you guys what to do
We
while
have
I'm
a
gone.
precedent now. We can play that for Jesse tomorrow, and then come up with a song lyric for him to incorporate.
Straight out of Compton, a crazy mother effer named Ice Cube from the gang called Ends With Attitude. When I'm called off, I get a sawed off, squeeze the trigger, and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you F with me. The police are going to have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out, like a punk MFer that's showing out.
And the Padres lead it 3-0.
Padres win.
Tony's just in there like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, all
Where
right.
the hell did that come from?
You got to let's look at classic line from a song and have Jesse weave it into a broadcast. I think that is.
We got
really
Text me
fun.
later today. I will.
All right.
I will make it happen for
Okay.
you tomorrow.
Sounds
It's Jesse.
All right, and finally, another local note. Comic-Con wrapped up. We talked about it very briefly on Friday, kind of a, oh yeah, Comic-Con's happening this weekend, but did you guys see the reaction from the big announcements on Saturday?
Yeah.
I saw Comic-Con made quite a few headlines. Wolverine and Deadpool was kind of the big attraction, the biggest movie of the weekend. I saw Jennifer Garner got stuck in an elevator for like over an hour.
Ben's dream to be stuck in an elevator with Jennifer Garner. What things might Ben say to Jennifer Garner?
Oh my God!
While stuck in an elevator.
Tell me about the Capital One venture car.
Yeah, I'm really interested. You do a great job at
How's that farm going for you?
Yeah, at selling the Capital One venture card.
But I
It's
think
like your dream girl, isn't it?
Jennifer, what's in your wallet?
Oh. She's like, just kill me. Just kill me dead. Who's this guy?
Who is this man?
Who's this guy?
I think the biggest headline was Robert Downey Jr. was unveiled as Dr. Doom. I think this was on Saturday evening in Hall H, and saw a video of
Looked
it.
pretty cool.
He came out with the mask and he ripped it off, and nobody had any idea who was behind the mask.
Pretty awesome.
And it was Robert Downey Jr. Now,
That's a shocker. of
Woods
course.
is extremely out on the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
I'm
But
like
you've
maybe
seen Iron
one
Man.
step behind
Loved
that.
Iron Man.
Iron Man was Robert Downey Jr. He was
Yes.
in probably at least 10 different Marvel movies as Iron Man. Spoiler alert, culminating in Endgame when, he had a fairly, let's just say, final ending to his character at the end of the movie. So everyone thinks he's gone, which is why this is such a stunner that he could come back. But because of the multiverse and the fact that you have different characters crossing as kind of different people in different universes, he can come back kind of as him, but as a evil version of him who, instead of being the big hero, is going to be the big baddie.
Well,
So
people
the same
for the
person. He'll be
upcoming-
Tony Stark.
Probably, or the same, essentially the same, different backstory, but the same person. What would have happened if he had become the super villain of evil, and now all the Avengers have to stop him instead of, him leading them? It's going to be interesting, I think.
But I see people are like, wow, this is completely unrealistic. And I'm like, hello? Are we on the same planet here? Like, so is all of it. It's all completely unrealistic. It's all fantasy. So go with the flow because he's a badass. He's good in anything he does.
if you're really getting into the weeds, Marvel's
boy.
kind of gone downhill since Avengers Endgame. Some of the following movies have not done as well, so they're just going back to let's bring back the stars that worked and see if we can juice up our franchise a little bit that's been lagging in the last few years.
I saw that night, SportsCenter of all accounts on Instagram posted the picture of Robert Downey Jr. and they said Robert Downey Jr. will play Dr. Doom in Marvel Studios Avengers Doomsday. I believe that comes out in like summer of 26. And then it said, explain this in sports terms. And I got more than a few chuckles from the comments. I saw a lot of people were saying, oh, this is Jordan coming out of retirement, or Jordan, the I'm back fax that was sent. And then other people go, no. This would be like Kobe Bryant resurrecting and then returning to play for the Boston Celtics.
All right, so it makes sense.
Okay, that actually, I can wrap my head around that, having no idea about anything with the Marvel Universe. I'm like, that actually made some sense.
Thank you, Paulie.
You're welcome.
Did you see Harrison Ford was also at Comic-Con? He's going to play a Marvel character.
Oh, is he?
Like Red Hulk in one of the upcoming movies.
Well, he's like 80 years old.
He is.
So, I mean, are we going to keep the same energy for him, being 80 or whatever?
82.
82 years old.
Just turned
I think
82.
the funniest tweet I saw was Harrison Ford is on stage, in one of the big halls, and he's looking kind of disheveled as he does with his hair.
Yeah.
And he's on stage, and he's got the microphone. There's all the people, and someone said, they switched the samples. Devlin McGregor could bring you Provasic.
He said that, or somebody said
someone
that?
tweeted that, like he's doing his Dr. Richard Kimball bit at the dinner.
They switched the samples. I love it.
Falsify their research.
I love
so
it.
Devlin McGregor could bring you Provasic.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Twitter is unmatched sometimes. Next for you guys, I have a little tease. I've got a golf tip that could save your game.
Ooh, well, I'm all in.
Save your game.
I am all in. I did the hypnotism sort of work for like 8 holes, and then Saturday morning kind of blew up on me. So I'm still willing to listen to the golf tips.
Yeah, you're going to
forward.
want to hear this one.
Also going to give away some Padres Dodgers tickets for tomorrow. So that's coming up next. Do not move a muscle. More Ben and Woods on the way after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Sometimes you forget people listen.
Oh, my God.
I always forget there are people listening. It's actually, I think, healthy sometimes.
It is to just forget
Yeah.
and just be three buddies in here doing bits and pranks and stuff. And if you missed it, I was pranked by the guys on Friday. They told me that while I was gone to Hawaii on my Hawaiian vacation, Ben was going to have Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers, in. Ben knows Dave, covered Dave. And it freaked me out, and I got really panicked about it. Paulie told me that Ben was very adamant about it. We played it in the 8, right at 8. So if you want to go hear it, you can go back and listen. It was a really good prank, and you guys got me good. But I just got a DM from somebody that said, hey, yeah, by the way, I think his wife works at a golf course. And apparently Dave Roberts is golfing with Trevor Hoffman right now as we speak.
Oh, so it's okay for Trevor to hang out with Dave, but not me.
Yeah, they're a fraternity. They were pro ball players, played together, right? They know each other.
I'm just teasing you.
And so my wife told me Trevor was talking to her about your bit about Dave. Hilarious. So there's a decent chance now that Dave Roberts has heard that bit. So again, it's nothing personal, but
So we have been led to believe that Trevor Hoffman was listening at 8 o'clock,
Correct.
heard the bit, and told Dave Roberts all about it.
Yeah. So glad I'm getting on a plane.
Ben, you do a great job.
I'm dead. I'm dead. Well, now that I hear they're out on the golf course, I've got a tip.
Yeah, perhaps it could help all of us, including them, out on the golf course.
You know, I had not played in a while, and was asked by our buddy Travis Devlin to come out and play on Saturday at Rancho Bernardo Inn, former home of the Ben and Woods Open. And I cleared it with the missus. She said, yeah, kids are going to be with their uncle. Feel free. Go have a ball. I said, thank you so much. Be nice to get out there. Went out, and no warm-up swings, no nothing, and I played like I'd never touched a golf course or a golf club before. The first 5 holes were just extremely rough, lost, 2 balls a hole. It was like, this is brutal. Travis goes, dude, your swing you're way fast. You're way, way, way fast. You just got to have the right tempo. And he goes, it's funny. I saw something on Twitter that a nice tip for tempo is our beloved There's a video of a guy and his swing, Hawk Tua. And I started dying laughing. Like, give me a break. So I got about a 120-yard shot, grabbed my attack wedge, and I go, all right. Well, I mean, at this point, nothing is going to hurt me at this point. I'm already playing like ass. So I get up, address the ball, 120 out, and I give it the old
Hawk Tua.
Boom. Crisp, flush. Next time, step up on the tee. Very next tee box. Step up. Line up my driver. I give it the old boom. 290. 290 down the middle. Into the wind. I mean, I murdered it. The rest of the day, so they were up big on us. I birdied 13 for our team, the only birdie of the day. We ended up flipping the match and both won $80 a piece. From the guys we were playing with.
You play for high stakes for someone who doesn't play very often.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. You know that. But the tempo of that, I just put it in my mind.
It's a good observation.
And I went,
you do have a tendency to get a little quick,
quick.
sometimes in your backswing.
Does that work in baseball? Hawk Tua.
I tried it yesterday. Didn't work for me in
Didn't
baseball,
work in
but
baseball.
it worked in golf. It really did. It was my only swing thought. Was just get up and have good tempo.
You gotta give him that Hawk Tua and spit on that
I
thing.
spat on that thing for the rest of the day. I really did. It was awesome.
Who knew she was a PGA professional as well?
She's the next Hank Haney. She's out there working with guys. No, I'm serious. It's just Hawk
Butch
Tua.
Harmon, Chris Cuomo.
Yeah, and Hawk Tua girl.
Hawk Tua girl.
It
the
worked.
great golf coaches of our day.
I couldn't believe it, dude.
I don't know if that's what I want to think about every time I swing the golf ball, but
What's better to think about than that while you're swinging a golf ball? It was so good. So good.
We have some audio we haven't gotten to yet. Xander Bogaerts is well versed on the Padres' newest acquisition, Jason Adam. We're going to get his scouting report, plus maybe hear from Joe Musgrove as well on his plans for rehab starting tomorrow in Arizona. That is coming up. Right now, though, going to give away a pair of tickets to tomorrow's game, Padres Dodgers at Petco Park. The fifth caller, 833-288-0973, going to win a pair of tickets to see Padres Dodgers series opener of the 2-game series at Petco Park, 833-288-0973. And if you don't win today and get through, we'll have another pair tomorrow for Wednesday's game, which, by the way, Dylan Cease's first game since a no-hitter. Always
Nice.
a little extra juice. See if a guy can pull a Johnny Vandermeer.
Is that going to be, that's Cease Kershaw?
Cease Kershaw tomorrow. Yeah, or Wednesday. And then tomorrow is
Waldron
against Glasnow.
Wow, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
All right, good luck. Phone lines are already blinking. If you didn't get in, you're probably too late. You got to have fast dialing fingers. We'll come back with some Padres audio to wrap things up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. So I heard on the postgame show yesterday, but really insightful scouting report, essentially, from Xander Bogaerts on the new Padres acquisition. Welcome back. It's our final segment. Congratulations to
Alec.
Alec won our Padres tickets. Thank you for calling in, Alec. Kind of like the Padres relief pitcher, Alec Jacob.
Yes.
Who has done nothing but succeed at the big league level. He gave up a base runner. I think that was only the second he's ever given up in his career. He gave up one last season before they had to shut him down after just, 5 appearances?
I like it.
Back and looked good. Maybe another option out of the bullpen to go along with Jason Adam, who was acquired yesterday in exchange for 3 minor leaguers. Dylan Lesko, of course, Homer Bush Jr., and J.D. Gonzalez, catching prospect. A pretty hefty price tag, but when you hear Xander Bogaerts talk about Jason Adam, you're going to go, okay, I feel pretty good about who the Padres are acquiring. Here's what Xander had to say about his new teammate.
What message does it send you guys when they're active, making trades? I know they've already made a couple season rise earlier in the season, but like today, and in theory, they might make one. What message does it send to the clubhouse when they're active?
I mean, I don't know Adam personally, but I face him, and I can tell you that he's pretty good. It's pretty tough at bat, very uncomfortable at bat, especially for a righty. His stuff plays against both sides, righty and lefties, to be honest, but it's very uncomfortable. I mean, they felt like that's a position we might have needed a little bit of help, and probably we had some guys in the back of the bullpen that we've been using a lot. So bringing in a high leverage guy like this guy with a ton of experience, it's just lengthens out the bullpen so much more.
What is it about him specifically that makes him uncomfortable?
So much, and then he has this weird, Tampa, they have him down here and they have up here. They have so many different variety of arms, but he's a weird something like coming out of here. I remember it was very, very weird. Nice two-seam change up, big, like sweeping. So I mean, and he throws strikes. It's not like he's effectively wild. No, he throws strikes. He knows what he's doing up there. So that's very, very important. Come big situations for sure.
Dub J wants to know if they were in the shower with Xander. I think you can hear some shower sounds coming in the background. It's about the most you'll ever get from a hitter about a pitcher, honestly, until their career's over. They don't like to give pitchers much credit at all.
It's a compliment though when a hitter says they're very uncomfortable at bat. That's one of the better compliments that a hitter can give to a pitcher. They're never going to concede like I can't hit that guy, but just knowing
just owns me.
He owns
knowing
me.
I don't feel comfortable when he's on the mound is a good thing. If you were one thing that I love to see is that Jason Adams is actually a guy who makes Pitching Ninja rather regularly.
Mm-hmm.
There was an at-bat earlier this month when he faced Juan Soto.
Oh, my God.
And absolutely tore Soto apart with 3 of his changeups.
Made him look like a fool.
I mean, even Soto looked at him with the side-eye glare you can't throw that pitch.
Yeah,
that's not allowed to throw a pitch like that.
That's wizardry.
Insane. You don't see Juan Soto miss by as much as he missed on the swing that he could not even come close to, that had him shaking his head going, what did I just see? So there's some really good stuff in there from Jason Adam. That sweeper and that changeup are filthy, nasty, top of the line, major league level. And I'm looking forward to seeing it this week.
Me too. Let's keep it that way. Let's absolutely keep it that way. And hopefully you get into a position in these next 2 games where Jason Adam comes in a high leverage situation to help you win a game against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Ben.
Speaking of pitching, we also have an update from the horse's mouth on Joe Musgrove's return. Hear from Joe after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple of accidents wrapping up our morning drive. One has been cleared over to the right shoulder on southbound 15, just past Miramar Way, and collision on westbound 8, right before Severn. That's the clearing stage over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. From a healthier weight to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? Not at all. It's just real food made for the dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. So, it seems as though the rehab for Joe Musgrove is coming along fairly nicely. Obviously, it hasn't been perfect. Joe has said, yeah, you have to work through some soreness and, the things that you go through when you're trying to stretch back out. But he has taken the steps. He continues to get closer. Have not shut him down. And the next step should be tomorrow in Arizona. Joe spoke. There's a little back and forth with Joe, I think, before the game yesterday, and reporters in Baltimore on what it's looking like for his rehab and return to the Padres.
I'll let the Mariners. Okay, cool. I think it's easier that way to guarantee that I can get, a 20-pitch inning and then another 15 pitches instead of, rehab start where I struggle, defense struggles, or something happens that I'm not able to get through an inning and then, finish up in the bullpen's not really what we're looking for. So Tuesday, midday sometime, something like 2 innings probably.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. 120 would be nice. Yeah, it'd be great. But yeah, so that, and then I think it's kind of AJ's call after that. If he wants to put me in for 3 innings to start, or if he wants me to get 1 more and then come back at 4 innings. So,
regardless of that, this is almost like skipping a step. You're not having to face your teammates. This last week, how it's gone, how encouraged are you?
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I think I needed to prove to them that I was ready. My bullpens have been really good. The velocity in life is there. The pitches are there. I've been recovering well. I was kind of pressing to get the live BP skipped. I feel like with the intensity I'm throwing my bullpens, I'd rather face, an opposing team where I can work all my pitches and work the inner half, whereas if I'm throwing to Toddy or guys back home, it's eliminating the whole side of the plate and pitches that I'm not going to take a chance of running one and hitting those guys. So, yeah, I think it's maybe skipping a step, but this is very similar to a live bullpen or live batting practice. Controlled scenario. There's, make the rules up as we go if we need to, stay out for extra outs, whatever the case is. So.
You can go in inside on it.
I can, yeah. I know you said it'd be up to AJ, but ideally, would it be just this one in Arizona and then take it out? Or? I think ideally probably it'd be 2, 3 and 4. I'd love to be back at 3 innings, but it's not fair to me. It's not fair to them to go out there with 50 pitches to work with and make a start and have the bullpen cover that. So depends on where we're at, bullpen wise, what the usage has been like, how the starters have done. If we've gotten a lot of length out of the starters, maybe they'll let me go and start for 3 innings and just kind of be an opener. But I think that all depends on how this homestand goes. I think the next day I would throw would be the last game of the homestand would be Sunday if I threw Tuesday. So could slot in somewhere there.
That's a possibility for you with how you're feeling. That you
it depends on how I come out of this live. The live is, the sim game is, a bit more intensity, I guess. But I've thrown a 40-pitch pin. I've done an up-down, so I feel like I'm ready to go. Yeah, we did a 20 pitch, rest for 10 minutes, and then another, 15. So.
But you would be cool with coming back with. I don't even know, come back in any role.
Yeah.
At one point, I think you wanted to be up to 5 by the time you came
back.
Yeah,
I would have liked to, but the whole process of building and getting to the bullpens took a little longer than we thought. So, trying to make up for it on the back end and still be smart and not just rush it just to get back. But it's hard to go out there when you only have 50 pitches to work with. One bad inning kind of the whole day up for everybody. So it's up to AJ. If he's ready and he trusts me to get out there, I feel ready to go. So.
Pretty good news there.
I didn't hear a word he said, except for I was just listening to the music in the background, trying to identify what it was.
Joe sounds like if he gets through tomorrow, when he pitches against Mariners minor leaguers in Arizona, then he's pretty close to being able to return. That doesn't mean they'll put him right back out. They may want him to extend out a little bit and throw a minor league rehab start or 2. But if they needed him, feels good after tomorrow, he's ready to give him 40 pitches, 45 pitches, and start building up from there. I see his point, though. If you bring him back and he throws 45 pitches, but let's say he throws a 27-pitch first inning and then a 20-pitch second inning, and he's done, all of a sudden now you got to cover 7 innings in the bullpen that day. That puts you in a precarious position when it comes to your relief pitchers if you bring them back too soon.
Yeah, you can get that work in on the backfields against minor leaguers and not at the big league level and torpedoing maybe a series.
But, if he's efficient, he comes back and throws 4 good innings, and it's Joe Musgrove throwing 4 good innings, and it's that or Adam Mazur throwing 2 2/3, then you go, maybe we do want Joe to come back. There's a calculation and a give and take. There's an opportunity cost, so the Padres will have to decide what they want to do.
Did you get it?
I need 3.5 minutes. It
Yeah.
resets every 10 minutes.
Okay.
But I will have it, yes.
Before the end of the show, I saw the chat.
Pretty incredible flub, apparently, that
Maybe.
I missed.
Possibly.
Potentially.
Maybe.
I like
check the tape.
I like the waiting
You've
game.
thrown the old challenge
flag.
and they're going to the review. Sometimes, as we've seen, the review takes a little longer than you'd like, but we're just kind of tensely waiting to see what the decision is from New York on a potential flub that I made during my Farmer's Dog live liner read a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, that was something.
I'm praying that it is.
By the way, just even if Joe does come back, that doesn't mean they don't need another starting
Correct.
pitcher. They still
absolutely
need another starting pitcher.
Absolutely
Guess what?
need
Even
another
if
one.
Joe and you come back, they still need another starting pitcher down the stretch, likely. And you status remains pretty. Honestly, we don't know any more than you do. AJ Preller said he talks to you every 3 or 4 days just to see where he's at, but there's no pressure on him to return. You will tell them when he feels comfortable with whatever's going on, with the personal situation, when he is able to do that. But at this point, we have no more information than you do. I'd like to say that we can give you a hint one way or the other. Really don't. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him again the rest of the season.
Math question for you. Right? So he's on the restricted list, so you don't have to pay him his salary. You can then use that
Correct.
salary to help you with trade deadline acquisitions.
Correct.
Then he does. Let's say he comes back in 3 weeks.
Starts counting against the team again. So whatever, if he misses 3 weeks, you just subtract 3 weeks of the season out of the $20 million he's going to make this year, and that does not go against the luxury tax.
So if the Padres go out and get a guy
expensive, it puts them like
enough,
right on the brink,
right, then
and then he comes back.
No,
you could
but
go over.
then you are to assume that he's not coming
Probably,
back. Right?
yes.
Okay. Because he's not going to want to.
But we don't know exactly how that math works anyway. There's, Major League Baseball will calculate it all at the end of the season. It doesn't really get calculated until the season is completely over. So it remains kind of a work in progress. It's not a final math problem until after the season's completely done. And then we'll find out if they stayed under the luxury tax number or they didn't. And part of that equation will be how much time you actually misses over the course of the rest of the season.
Okay.
But from what we heard, they were about 8 to 10 million under, going kind of into this month. Now, they did pick up Adam, which is not a huge, what is he making, like 3 something this year, which means a prorated about $1 million. So that gets him a little bit closer. See what other moves they may or may not make over the next 24 hours that pushes them a little bit closer. But they can make sure they stay under whether or not you comes back, because that 8 to 10 was before you went on the restricted list. So that number has been ticking back up. Like every day it ticks up a little bit more that they have to play with as long as you doesn't return from the restricted list.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting to see how this all plays out. And, obviously, our position hasn't changed. We wish you, Darvish, the very best. And if anybody has earned this situation, it's him. Certainly. I have no questions about it. Don't feel bad about it in the slightest as far as I don't need an explanation from you, Darvish, right now. You, Darvish, is handling to personal matters, and that's really all we need to know. So, but onward and upward with the team, certainly, and they're going to have to make moves, probably planning for him not to come back. But, stranger things have happened. So I wish him the very best and his family as well.
At this point, though, if you really, what you're counting on, if the Padres get to the postseason, Dylan Cease and Michael King are the Padres' number 1 and number 2 pitchers at the moment.
Absolutely.
Matt Waldron, probably a solid 3, and then we'll see what they can get from anyone else beyond that the rest of the way.
Julian just said trade alert, but I haven't seen anything. So maybe he's doing this to do a bit and prank me again. Anybody see anything?
Nope.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Have not seen
Don't just
anything.
say trade alert with exclamation points and then don't put the trade in.
Oh, wait, hold on. Ty France to the Reds, I got.
That's the one? Oh, my God.
Cash considerations back to the Reds. The Mariners acquire catcher Andrew Salcedo. Now, France was designated for assignment.
Yeah,
this is a very minor deal, if that's the one they're talking about. But there was a trade in the last couple of minutes.
Breaking news on Ben and Woods.
Makes you think that
the
Reds aren't selling, though. If they're picking up Ty France, then maybe they're still thinking they're on the fringes of the playoff chase, which makes guys like Jonathan India not necessarily available here at the trade deadline.
Yeah, but they're talking about moving Nick Martinez still.
Right. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe they think. I mean, didn't they?
How'd they do this weekend? I have no idea.
They actually won this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're still like 4 or 5 games under 500, though. Not out of it, certainly, but also not necessarily in it. So they're in a very limbo land. They lost 2 of 3 to the Rays over the weekend.
The Rays are just trading everybody. After winning 2 of 3. That's the Rays way. That's the Rays way.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes here, we went to the tape, and Ben's okay.
Oh, he's okay. Go ahead.
I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. From a healthier way to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? Not at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. Perfect.
Somebody thought they heard you say real
food made
from dogs.
That would be
not.
That would be not.
Made for the health of dogs.
For the health. You guys got us all excited for nothing. Just like that trade alert in the chat got us.
See the new Padres concert announcement?
The reputation that I make that many mistakes. I make some mistakes, but I don't think I make that many mistakes.
No. It's not like we have hours of flubs. Literal hours of them. You're right.
Yeah, over 6 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
You're right. It's a long, long time.
What were you saying, Paulie?
The Padres announced their newest concert, Wild Horses, returns on December 30th. That's the country festival, I think, right?
Yep.
And headlining it is new country star Post Malone.
New country star Post Malone.
I loved his song about the Padres losing on Sundays.
That was not him.
Oh, that wasn't him.
Though it could have been. Well, gentlemen, that's where I bid you adieu.
Oh, we're saying goodbye to Woods.
Yeah, that's it for me.
I'd like to say I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you desperately.
I'm going to miss you guys, too.
Paulie will miss you as well.
The Rally Roach will be here in my stead. Let's get some dubs. Let's please not go off the cliff like I'm going to in Kauai. Let's win some games.
Am I going to get a lay when you come back?
You have no idea what kind of lay you're going to get, buddy.
Thanks for
you
that.
Call in
and you don't like... Yeah, I'll call in. You guys, you don't like macadamia, right?
I'm not a nut guy.
Oh, bring them on.
All right, Paulie. Gotcha.
50-50. Annie and Elston coming up next.
Love
Have
you
a
guys.
great rest of your Monday.
See you, buddy.
From all of us here at
Mahalo.
97.3 The Fan.